Is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. And I'm gonna lead with this story on Trump and his approval rating, which is just amazingly high. But I just came across something that's that will be my second lead that really is not good. But we're catching it early, and the fact that I caught this early will, of course, lessen the impact. What are you doing, Coca-Cola? That's Coca-Cola. One of my cats. Little scratching post there, otherwise known as my office chair. If you're new, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Now, I'm going to show a bunch of articles, play some audio and video sound bites. To see and hear all of that, you got to go to my main live stream, which is pinned in the description of the video. I just put the link there. And I do take live calls as well. And I'm putting the toll-free number in the live chat. It's pinned right there. That's the number to call in. Okay. Welcome, everyone. All right. And it's time to get started. I'm going to start the mainstream now. Again, to see and hear all the audio and video I play, you have to go to my mainstream, all right? Here we go. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This, of course, is where MAGA comes to talk each and every day. Welcome, everyone. We've got a lot to cover. We've got some incredible news about our favorite president, Donald Trump. And then I came across something that I'm going to get into after 6 o'clock, after the top of the hour when the radio show starts, because I came across something that is very troublesome. It's got to be dealt with. It's got to be talked about. It's got to be exposed, and questions have to be asked, and questions have to be answered. That's going to be when the radio show starts after the top of the hour at 6 a.m. If you're new, this is where MAGA comes to talk. If you haven't figured that out already and you'll want to subscribe, you'll enjoy this program, I promise you. Okay, now, what I want to talk about is what is in the title and the thumbnail of this YouTube video. And this is, what's happened in the last few days is insane. I'm going to get into the Comey and Letitia James in some more detail. This outing that Elon Musk did on X this weekend, where he showed the locations of where these accounts, a lot of accounts were based when they were started. And we're seeing of all political stripes, MAGA, liberal, everything, started in Asia, Europe, Africa. You've seen the story. And what the liberals are trying to say is, well, MAGA's fake. All these MAGA accounts are formed in Indonesia, Canada, and all these things. Well, that's a bunch of nonsense. Obviously, what is going on is a mix of several things. Liberals and bot farms and the Never Trumpers and foreign intelligence agencies and everything else have been using Twitter to start false narratives, push certain agendas. They used to do this in the newspapers and in television, but no one pays attention to that now. The number one news platform of any type on the planet Earth, and for that matter, in the known universe, is X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. That's the number one place people globally go for news and information. So these evildoers don't spend too much time trying to get the newspapers or the television news doing their bidding anymore. They do it through Twitter. And Elon Musk did President Trump such a great favor by exposing all these foreign-based accounts. And a lot of people, there's a lot of confusion. What about all these MAGA accounts that are from these other countries that are bot farms and such? Well, they're also starting false narratives. There's this big fake MAGA narrative that they've been trying to start, and you hear some of these jokers call me. And sometimes the calls I get are from other countries. I get calls from all over the world on this program, and some of the seminar callers that you hear are calling from international numbers and such. There's this false narrative that they've been trying to get going for months, that MAGA people are turning their back on Trump. He's betrayed them. I supported Trump. I voted for him in 3 elections and all this stuff, but I'm for America first, and he's not America first, which is just a nonsense talking point that anti-Semites say to mask their Jew hatred. But, they'll have, the Epstein, I voted for him for the release of the Epstein files, but he signed a bill into law just last week making it federal law to release all the Epstein files. So there's a lot of fake MAGA in these other countries that are trying to get MAGA to turn against President Trump. And everything that the Never Trump forces have done, whoever they are, Democrats, Republican establishment, foreign nations, everything that they've done against Trump since he came down the escalator, with a few exceptions, like when they shot him in Butler and stuff. But mostly what they did, and this includes his arrest, is to try to turn MAGA against President Trump. They always think that if they can just do this one thing, MAGA will finally wake up and turn against President Trump. That's been a common theme with them that I'm having some issues here, so hopefully I'll be able to get this taken care of before the show. Oh, great. Okay. Boy, oh boy. Okay, hold on a second here, guys. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Hold on, I'm just having some tech issues, but that's the way it goes. Okay. Okay, that'll work. So everything they are doing and have done is to try to turn us against President Trump. And they'll never learn that it will never work. There's nothing that will turn us against President Trump. But that's why there's so many fake MAGA accounts on X in all these foreign countries. They're trying to drive MAGA against the president. Well, and those accounts aren't just MAGA. They're from countries all over the world. And I want to give you a poll here. And this is the subject matter in the thumbnail of the video. I do not do clickbait, okay? President Trump does have an 87% approval rating. I'm going to share that with you right now. And this is from CNN that hates Trump like the plague. Look at this. This is CNN. Okay, now, by the way, if you're watching, I have 2 live streams that are going. If you're watching on the live stream with the green wall behind me, to see and hear all the audio and video and images I show, and to get the benefits of the green screen effect, you have to go to my main live stream on YouTube, and the link to my main live stream is in the description of the video with the green wall behind me, okay? Okay, now see, This is of Republicans who approve of Trump is at 87%. 6 months ago, it was 87%. So it's strong. And a lot of people that are liberally impaired or their thought processes are diluted because of their Trump derangement syndrome suffering don't understand. It doesn't matter what non-Republicans think about President Trump. They wouldn't vote for him or Trump-endorsed candidates anyway, right? Who cares what liberals think? Who cares what Democrats think? Who cares? Because they're not going to vote Republican anyway. The only people that matter are those that are going to vote Republican. So President Trump's approval rating among Republicans right now is 87%, which is exactly what it was 6 months ago. So this is according to CNN. Wow. Yeah, okay. So then I'm not going to go through the Marjorie Taylor Greene, but President Trump's approval rating at 87% is 9 points higher than Obama or Bush at the same point in their second term. That's really amazing, isn't it? That's how popular he is. So all these people who you see on social media or calling me, oh, I was MAGA, but he did this. His support is where it was with Republicans 6 months ago, which shows us what I've been telling you the last few days, that no one who's MAGA has left President Trump. Marjorie Taylor Greene, according to Laura Loomer, left Trump years ago, right? She called her out years ago as being fake MAGA, so that doesn't count. And, Bush and Obama, 9 points lower than Trump's support. Obama, at the same point in their second term, President Trump has the highest approval rating of any second-term president in the 21st century, and we are a quarter of the way through the century now. That's amazing. And what these two guys, Bush and Obama, had going for them, for President Trump to be so much higher, Obama had a complete free ride. He was first black president. Bush had, at this point in his second term, had just won re-election, and there was a big war going on. And when there's the war in Iraq was really heavy at that time, right? The surge and all that stuff was going on. And when America's at war, they rally behind the president across party lines. So for President Trump to be more popular than Obama or Bush at this point in their second term is not just historic, it's amazing. Especially when you think about he's had 100% negative news coverage from the mainstream media for over 10 years. Right? And everything else, and all the fake arrests and fake charges and fake criminal cases and lawsuits and such. This is absolutely amazing. So this one here, this is anyone who says they're fake MAGA, they're fake, okay? I mean, or that they're MAGA who's turned on Trump, they're fake MAGA. Don't believe them. Now, I do have a story that I'm going to get into after the top of the hour that I'm not going to share now, which is just very upsetting. But I do want to tell you guys that, let me pull this up, that this early program that I've been doing for the last few months is brought to you by the great Mike Lindell and MyPillow. I'm trying to make this a permanent deal, guys, so that I can have Mike Lindell sponsoring this early pre-show forever. And they're going to give me an answer after the first of the year. And that answer depends on the results that I produce for them using the promo code Kane from you and the listening audience. So please go to mypillow.com and use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. You know, they got a Black Friday special going on right now. There's so many specials: blankets, comforters, duvet covers, the children's Bible pillows. There's so many things. You can use my promo code Kane at checkout for everything that's on special at mypillow.com. The 6-piece MyPillow towel sets, everything, the slippers, the pajamas, everything, the socks. I need some new black socks. I'll have my wife order some of the socks. They're 25% off with the promo code Kane at checkout. And whether or not Mike Lindell and MyPillow continue permanently sponsoring my early show depends on you going there and using the promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And if you continue to do that, which you've been doing very well, it will become permanent after the first of the year. We'll take a quick break and be back. Yeah, all right, guys, I appreciate that. Promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout. All right, I'll take some calls here. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat if you're watching live. It's 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Mike.
Man, every time we see Harry Enton, you know, that guy is saying things that are true, but have got to be angering the audience of CNN and the host on CNN.
Yep.
Because he's speaking truth.
Yep.
You know, and that from these pollsters, you hardly ever get that. But if the numbers are saying what the numbers are saying, he's not going to lie. I don't think.
No.
He don't want to. He don't want to wreck his. He don't want to wreck his. His reputation.
No, I mean to be more popular than the first black president at this point in their second term is so amazing, because Obama had how many millions of supporters just because he was the first black president?
Absolutely, and look, I will freely admit this: I did not vote for Trump in 2016. I will freely admit this.
Really? Wow. That's the first time you've ever said that, Mike.
I will freely admit this. And the reason why I didn't vote for him is he was a Northeastern Republican, and I didn't trust the Northeastern Republican.
Okay.
You know, Susan Collins.
Who'd you vote for? Who'd you vote for?
And all that stuff.
You voted for Hillary Clinton?
I didn't vote for president that year.
Oh, okay.
I voted for everybody down the line.
Do you remember who you voted for in the primary? Who'd you vote for in the Republican primary?
I was an independent, so I couldn't vote in the Republican primary.
All right. Confession is good. Well, you were red-pilled. You're MAGA now. Yeah, that's all that counts.
Yeah, I voted for him twice, 2020 and 2024. So, yeah, I'm red-pilled, but I didn't vote for him. So, but again, he won me over because of what he did in the first term. Promises kept. Promises made, promises kept.
There you go. Right? That's correct.
You know, and that's the thing. And now that we see that he's got a 10-point edge in his second term in terms of own party support, there's no way that, I mean, whoever he picks, if it's JD or
Well, JD, there's a new
Root
poll out with
Marco.
JP through the. By the way, appreciate the call, Mike. Well, that was nice. Mike did not vote for Trump in 2016. Oh boy! But you know what? He's red-pilled now. He's one of us, guys. He's one of us. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning to you.
Hey, Richie.
My God, you get up so early. I see you got the air in your tire, I guess.
I ran over something
you were
yesterday in my Kia. I don't know what it was. Rough day. I stepped in dog crap in the morning in my favorite pair of Vans, and then I ran over a nail or something. So, yeah. Do you think Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro put air in their tires before they go on the air?
No. I don't think they could bend down.
Exactly.
Down to do it.
Exactly.
Call 911 to get up.
Hold on, Richie. Let me answer these lines coming in. All right. Yeah. Go. All right, Richie. Go ahead. Oh no. Hold on. I got the lines mixed up. All right, Richie. Go ahead.
Yeah. Here's the deal. Okay. Look, President Trump is so solid, and like you said, how can anyone be against him? And when they call in these crazy people. They call in. They say you people are a cult.
Yes.
They say that we're sycophants and everything else. I mean, listen. When Biden was president, did we go out there and have no kings marches and all this crap?
Or attack, or burn, or firebomb car dealerships?
No.
Exactly.
For 4 years, for 4 years, there were no demonstrations in the streets, and this is what I'm going to lead up to. There's a young man, I think you know who it is. He's on YouTube. He's like a reporter. He goes undercover into all these marches, and he exposes all these people, that the same people that are with the Palestinian marches, the same left-wing, crazy communist Democrats are organizers for Soros. They're in every march with the Palestinians. They're in every march with the King, no Kings march. They organize. That's their job. These people are sickos.
Yeah.
The ones that when you went over to Palm Beach, you got, did they recognize you when you went over there to that one of their demonstrations?
Sometimes, yeah. People recognize me. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I don't go to a lot of them.
That was an organized thing.
Yeah.
These people, these blue hair, gray hair, old farts, have nothing better to do. That's their job now. They don't volunteer in hospitals anymore. They get paid a couple
Well, when you
bucks
go,
and
when
they
I
go
went
stand
to,
there
I
with
went
a
to,
dump site.
the two that I don't go to a lot of protests that are liberal because people do recognize me, and then they get really it gets scary. But I did two videos that are really good. One was at the Tesla dealership in Fort Lauderdale, and then one I did not post to YouTube. It's on X. I didn't post it to YouTube because some of the language that these people used was I got to tell you, it was too too hot for YouTube. But it's on my X
terrible.
at the No Kings. But basically, what they were senior citizen gays. They were gay senior citizens.
Yeah.
And I would say that was about 85% of the crowd were gay senior citizens. The other 15% of them, about 10 or 12% were gay, and whatever was left were I don't know what they were, weirdos.
Left-wing weirdos. You're 100% right. Now here we go. And it's all coming together now, and why you see Trump with 87% approval. He has always had the approval. He hasn't gone down at all. But there's so many people in this country and Europe who hate his guts because he's for closed borders. They're against everything he's for. They have more than a derangement syndrome.
With USAID and other things, America was being ripped off by the whole world, and he shut down that whole operation. And he has cut off the finances to some big he's cut off the money to people that make him look poor. They're so rich, right? I mean, really.
So they hate him. Mm-hmm. So that's why you had all those things on X that are anti-Trump. They say they're MAGA, and they're probably from countries that hate his guts. Yep. This is an organized world thing against Trump. He didn't go to their latest thing over in Europe with the Green Deal crap. He stays. We have withdrawn from all of that garbage.
I'll tell you guys, I haven't talked about this a lot, but a lot of the fake MAGA that call me, a lot of it's from Canada. And the reason that is because they can, the Canadian accent, I can pick up a Canadian accent pretty easy. It's easy.
So could I.
You know, but they can pass as American easier than any other nationality. So a lot of the seminar callers are from Canada that I get here.
Especially when you hear here's the tip off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their famous thing. But the deal is, Brian, they hate him so much all over the country, and they're all leftists. Mm-hmm. And I tell you the truth, I hope people have a happy Thanksgiving. And if you have family members that are crazies with blue hair and are leftists, don't bring up politics, because you'll destroy your Thanksgiving. But when it's over, let them know that they're morons.
Yeah.
Okay? Let them know that.
That's right.
Because
That's right. All right, Richie.
150%.
All right, you take care, Richie.
Have a good
one. All right, take care. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Michael. I'm calling from St. Louis, Missouri.
All right, Michael in St. Louis.
Before.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's been a while, but I'm back. When I saw your stream, I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and pay attention, because there was like a lot of stuff. Man, it feels like a person that can understand what Trump is going through, but everything that he's overcoming, a lot of people just not believing and choosing not to believe, because it's like the person that they don't want saving this country is him. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, I have no idea, and I just chose not to. I choose to let them live with their TDS. Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Sometimes you just gotta let go and put them in God's hands.
Yeah. And
just leave it at that.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I wanted to appreciate you, because you have the courage and bravery to tell it like it is, and you know it's real when CNN is telling the truth. And I was like, damn, these people don't like him. That's the Clinton News Network.
That's right.
That off top. But yeah, these subordinates of them are even telling it like it is.
Yeah.
And once he released those, the moment he released those Epstein files, it was like everything became at a standstill, because everybody was expecting him to be on there.
Well, that's when a lot of this acting out began. Marjorie Taylor Greene, that video from the Congress people trying to cause a military uprising, that's all panicked response to him releasing the Epstein files.
Yeah, Marjorie, she's a traitor. Mm-hmm. And the fact that when she sided with the left, I was like, no, that was too much.
Yeah.
And he was going to put him. He was going to put her in a good position until she went there.
Yeah, she was set for life. She was set for life, and believe me, she's not happy. She did not plan on leaving Congress. She's left in the middle of her term with a year left of her 2-year term, and she's going out like a loser. Yeah,
now they say she's going to be one of the co-hosts of The View. I don't know how true that is, but that's still
I haven't seen any news stories about that. Everybody's speculating on it, but it doesn't matter. They may use her to bash Trump during the election year, but that's going to fade away. You're not going to see her around too much. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, after all the proof and everything, I just typed it down on your chat line. I was like, even after everything, we can prove everything. The people that choose not to believe it is the ones that, at this point, we got 3 more years of this man. And then after that, J.D. Vance, I'm just hoping I'm really praying that he doesn't pull a Mike Pence.
Well, so far, J.D. seems to be all right. Mike Pence was, if you guys that listened to me back then, if you go through my YouTube channel and my podcast, I never trusted Pence. I never trusted Pence from the beginning. And I remember the first time I talked about it openly was when that Access Hollywood tape came out. Pence, who was running with Trump already, condemned Trump. He was criticizing Trump. It was when Trump was at the Iowa State Fair. And I told people, I talked about that, and I said, Pence, and if you think about it, you never could really, he seemed fake. You could never really get an idea of what his real personality was like, which instantly makes me not trust him.
Like, at first I was figuring with him being one of the part of the established Republicans, stuff like that, I didn't know at that time. I just figured it would be somebody who had somewhat a side of, common sense or somebody who would side with
you know
Trump.
who really, do you know who does not trust Mike Pence a lot?
Who's that?
His wife. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. How many times have you heard Pence say, Mike Pence has been saying this as long as I've known him, I will never be alone in a room with a woman I'm not married to. Well, sometimes that happens. It doesn't mean anything inappropriate's going on. That means that his wife doesn't trust him. Something has happened. I know guys like that. You call them on their cell phone and the wife answers their phone. Any of you guys know anybody like that? I know a couple guys like that. They never answer the phone. The wife always does. And when that happens, you're talking, your friend cheated on his wife. If the wife always answers their cell phone, that's usually what it means.
I thought, if to the person like that, it would be somebody who was at least faithful, that would have that level of fidelity. If that was the word for it.
Yeah.
I figured, that would make sense to not be alone with any woman, especially if it's not your wife.
Well, it does. It makes sense. But in the business world, that might have, like, say, for example, you work at the White House, right? And you're a guy, and Caroline Leavitt has something to tell you. She comes in your office to tell you, you're alone with Caroline Leavitt. You know what I mean? Even in an instance like that, Mike Pence would not be alone with a woman in a room, right?
Wow.
I'm not talking about going on a car ride somewhere.
She is nice. Wow.
So that means his wife doesn't trust him for some reason. I don't know. But he's a creep, and I know I don't trust him. He betrayed us.
Oh, damn.
Hey, appreciate the call. Welcome back. You're a good caller.
Yes, thank you.
All right, take care. Take care. Yep. Now, I want to tell you guys, again, that this early pre-show that I'm doing is brought to you by Mike Lindell and MyPillow. It's so important for you guys. If I can make this permanent, I'll be able to do this early morning show indefinitely, forever and ever. Well, permanently, with the sponsorship of MyPillow and Mike Lindell. So please do your Christmas shopping at MyPillow.com with my promo code Kane at checkout. And each month for the last couple of months, I get an update from them at the end of the month or the beginning of the next month. They're going to tell me if they're going to continue, which they have thus far, but we're getting towards the end of November. So it's important for you guys to go and load up and do your Christmas shopping at MyPillow.com. The Black Friday specials are going on. You can use my promo code Kane at checkout on all the specials at MyPillow.com. And then after the first of the year, I'll have the big meeting as to whether or not it's going to be a permanent deal or not. So please, whether or not they continue for next month and then after the first of the year permanently, all depends on you using my promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Tony. Good morning.
Hey, Tony, what's on your mind?
And I'm sorry, North Carolina.
Yep, what's on your mind, Tony?
Ever since the veil has been lifted on this corruption, it's hard to unsee.
What corruption in particular are you talking about?
I'm just saying all this stuff that when Trump got in office, like all this crazy spending and where funds are going.
Oh, Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, the
it's
SNAP
hard
money.
to unsee.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how it's amazing on how you feel. It's like, oh man, I'm kind of lost in my words right now.
That's okay. It's early.
Yeah, it is. So, no, it's just hard to unsee everything, and it's like almost like your government hates you, in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you start how half the country talks about the other half.
Mm.
You know, it's pretty much one side, but I'm not going to blame people.
There's not one side. The MAGA movement led by President Trump is not part of the same side as these low-life political establishment corrupt people and the Democrats.
Yes,
No.
that's what I'm saying. It just seems like it's pretty much one side that's like pushing all the narrative, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to get back to my day. I appreciate it.
All right.
Sorry, I'm not really great.
All right. Well, thank you for your
talking
call.
to the masses.
All right. Take care.
Okay,
Take care.
guys.
Now, if you're on hold, stand by. We got a few minutes till the radio show starts. Let me play this again for those that missed this earlier. This was amazing. New poll about Trump's popularity dropped by CNN yesterday. Look at this. That's amazing, right? I mean, you know, for him to be almost 10 points ahead of Obama, who had a completely free pass because he was the first black president, is beyond amazing. And Bush, in his second term, the war was really hot then. I mean, we were really in a rough war in Iraq. And when the country's at war, they rally behind the president. So this is absolutely, it's just astounding. All right, let me see where we are here. Okay, we're going to be live in less than 2 minutes on the radio. So I'm going to open up and do a recap on this story on the radio. And then there's something new that I've got to talk about that I saw this morning, and it's a big problem that we have in the MAGA movement that I've not talked about before, and I may be the first person to talk about it, okay? And that's coming up. It's a big problem. For Thursday and Friday, and you know, I will live stream here on YouTube. I don't know if I'm going to do the radio show Thursday and Friday. I usually take Thursday and Friday off Thanksgiving week most of the time because it's a 4-day weekend. I don't get too much time off, the MAGA cruise and then the 4-day weekend. But I will live stream on YouTube. I don't know if I'm going to do the radio show because if I do the radio show, I'm locked in till 9, right? I got to do the whole thing. I can't, you know, if I live stream on YouTube, I can end whenever I feel like it. And of course, Thanksgiving's a big day, and this is our first Thanksgiving with my daughter in several years because she just moved back from Los Angeles. So she was out in LA for Thanksgiving the last few years. So it's our first Thanksgiving with her in like maybe 4 years. So, you know, it's tough to get up the next day and do a show on Thursday. And then Friday, I don't know. But I'll be here on YouTube, no doubt. I just don't know what I'm doing on the radio. And if I'm in the studio, I'm taking calls. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. So I'm going to recap this story and then get into this. I got a lot to cover. And then this new thing I came across. We're going to be live in about 12 seconds. Stand by. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Okay, I have got a lot to cover today, and I've got some good news here in the beginning. But I came across something this morning that is a big problem for MAGA. And I'm not talking about Comey and Letitia. We'll get to that, but we've got a big problem in MAGA world, and I just found out about this morning. I'm going to go through it in detail and talk about it. It's just, I'm livid over it. You know, I almost said I'm not going to talk about it this morning because I'm so angry. I don't like to talk about things when I'm angry, really angry, right? Because you lose a little bit of control. That Trump derangement syndrome. A lot of the anger, hate, when you're angry, you don't have as much control over what comes out of your mouth. You know what I mean? But I think I can control myself. I'm going to cover this today because it's very, very important. So stay tuned for that. But first, there's a new approval rating that has come out for President Trump. President Trump has the highest approval rating of, let me just play this. This is from CNN. And when I have something like this, I try to find a liberal news source to share it with you from. And the reason I do that, as opposed to sharing this from Breitbart or Fox or something like that, is so that the liberals and the Trump derangement syndrome sufferers can't discount the information. Oh, well, that's Fox News, of course. Oh, that's Breitbart. Of course they say that. So when I find a story like this, I try to find it from a liberal source so the left are forced to face it as opposed to dismissing it in their pea brains that, oh, well, that's just right-wing news. This is CNN, and I'm not even going to tell you what it is. I'll just play it. It explains itself. Amazing. Okay, so President Trump is at 87% approval among Republicans, which is 9 points ahead of Bush and Obama at this point in their second term. This is historic. I'll tell you why it's so important. First of all, to be that far ahead of Obama and Bush is so beyond amazing, words can hardly describe, because now Bush, at this point in his second term, the war in Iraq was going full steam ahead. He had just won re-election, and that whole election in 2004 was over the war. And when the country is at war, and that was a rough war at that point in his second term, it really was. That is when the country rallies behind a president across party lines. Obama had a complete free pass for 8 years because he's the first black president of the United States. And for Trump to be that far ahead, and some of you may say, well, wait a minute, that's only Republicans. Who cares what the others think, right? His support among Republicans is all that matters, because only Republicans are going to vote for him or his endorsed candidates. Democrats, liberals, they're not going to vote for Donald Trump no matter what. So his approval rating among Republicans at 87%, which is the highest of any president in their second term in the 21st century, which we are a quarter of the way through, is so amazing for so many reasons. And that's why there's so much panic going on right now. You know, there's been three things that have happened in the last week and a half to 2 weeks, that is complete panic, okay? Because President Trump signed that bill into law to release the Epstein files, that has just caused shockwaves, because the enemies of Trump, the left, the never-Trumpers, the Bush family, they were going to ride that wave through the midterms, they thought, the Epstein files. And then, boom, he's made it a federal law to release the files. Not an executive order. It's a federal law passed by the Congress, signed by the president into law. So they don't have that anymore. Over the weekend, I mentioned this a little bit yesterday, and I haven't gotten too into it because it really hasn't been fleshed out properly in the media at all. Over the weekend, Elon Musk flipped a switch over at X, and this was an amazing favor that Elon Musk did for the president. He flipped this switch, and instantly across X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, it showed you the country of origin for every account on X. And we found out that there's people of all political persuasions were these countries passing themselves off as Americans, Democrats, Republicans, MAGA, were these accounts were started in foreign countries: Canada, Australia, China, Japan, throughout Africa, Europe. You've seen the story a little bit, including a lot of MAGA. Okay? And one of the things that they've been trying to do through social media and with Marjorie Taylor Greene, those are two of the three things that I referenced that happened. They've been trying to get a narrative going through these fake MAGA people on X that we're now finding are based in other countries, passing themselves off as Americans, that MAGA has turned against Trump because he's not America first, which is absurd. We now know, according to this new CNN poll that I shared with you, that President Trump's support among Republicans is at 87%, which is exactly what it was 6 months ago, and it's 9 points higher than Obama or Bush at this point in their second term, okay? So this narrative that they're trying to give us that MAGA is turning away from Trump is a false narrative, a complete lie that the deep state and the political parties, the Democrats, the Republican establishment, and all of these have been trying to push on us. It is a 100% falsehood. And this poll shows that. And I've been telling you guys the last few days here on the radio program as well as my podcast and everything, that in my personal life, everyone and all of my friends and family are MAGA. It's amazing. And I don't even talk about politics to my family, and they're all MAGA. My friends, people I've known for almost my entire life that I haven't even seen in decades, I find out they're MAGA. And yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And I do not know anyone who's MAGA in my personal life who's turned against Trump. Not a single person. I do know people that didn't like him and maybe didn't vote for him the first or second time, and they're MAGA now. But I don't know anyone in my private life who was MAGA that switched. It's one of those things. Once you go MAGA, you never go back. Right? And that is true of most everybody. So these people that you hear from on social media or in the media or who call me that say, well, you know, I was for Trump, I voted for him all these times, but he's turned his back. Lies, false narratives, deep state trickery, and psyops. Because this new poll that I just shared with you showed that his support among Republicans is at 87%, exactly where it was 6 months ago, and he's 9 points higher than Bush and Obama were at this point in their second terms. So that false narrative has just been deflated by this poll, courtesy of CNN. But that's not all. I've got a lot more to share. If you're on hold, stand by. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You know, George Colony, our real estate guy who just joined us a couple weeks ago here on the program as a sponsor, I met George Colony yesterday after the show, getting together, you know, doing some new commercials and such. And in the commercial you hear from George Colony, you hear him say, people ask me all the time, when's the right time to buy or sell real estate? And George Colony's answer, it's amazing. He says it's always the right time if you have the right advice. And that's where my friend George Colony comes in. And, you know, George Colony, he has been in the real estate business here in Florida for as long as I can remember. I've known his name all my life because growing up in Fort Lauderdale, I saw his name on all over. You know how real estate agents, you see their names all over the place? I've seen his name all over South Florida my entire life. But he's not just a real estate agent. You know, when it comes to your home, for most everyone, your home is the biggest financial decision you will make in your life, and it can be multi-generational. And who are you leaving that decision up to? Your real estate agent. Well, who is your real estate agent in the past? Someone who was working as a bartender at the Outback, if there's any of those around anymore, or Chili's, and they took some real estate courses, and now all of a sudden, they're giving you advice on such a major financial decision. Now, nothing against those guys, but they're not business people. They don't understand real estate. They don't understand money. They don't understand business. George Colony isn't just a real estate agent. He's a businessman. In fact, he has bought or he's been involved in the buying and selling of over $5 billion with a B in real estate transactions and is a founder of an 8-figure business. He knows money. He knows real estate. And he is an expert. So when it comes to real estate, call George Colony. This number rings directly to George Colony's cell phone, 954-801-7320. Whether you're interested in buying, selling, investing, renting, whether you're moving to Florida, give him a call. Are you a renter who's always dreamed of owning a home? Give George Colony a call. This is what I was talking with George about yesterday. It was amazing. If you're a renter, how much are you paying in rent? You know, George Colony can make you an owner, turn you from a renter into an owner, paying less than you're paying in rent. Give him a call. 954-801-7320. 954-801-7320. That's 954-801-7320. For George Colony, we'll be right back. All right, we're clear. Welcome back. If you're on hold, stand by, guys. I've got so much to cover today. Where am I going to go next? Oh, yes. I want to get into this next. And then this new thing I'm going to get to. I got a couple of things I want to get through here early, and then I'm going to get into this bigger thing that I was talking about. Okay. Yeah, guys, make sure you give George Colony a call.
This is George Colony. I'm in real estate business in Lauderdale, Florida with Kai's Real Estate. I've been in business for 6 decades. People often ask me, what's the right time to buy or sell real estate? To tell you the truth, it's always the right time. You just need to have the right advice from the right advisor. You can call me anytime because I answer my phone on the first ring. My number is 954-801-7320. That's my personal cell phone number, and I answer it on the first ring.
All right, we'll be back on the radio in just over a minute. If you're on hold, stand by, because there's a couple of things that I've got to go over, and then I've got and that's not even the big thing I just found out about. We'll be back in just over a minute. Some of these things that are going on, it really will. It just pisses you off, really. You know. Let me see here. Where is this article? There it is. Okay. We got about 35 seconds and we'll be back. If you're on hold, stand by. If you want to call in, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. President Trump ended the alien invasion. It's true. Illegal alien. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Okay, I've got a few things I'm going through here early, and then there's something big that's a big problem for MAGA that I'm going to get to in a few minutes when I go through some of these other stories. In fact, this thing I haven't gotten to yet, I came across this. I'd done all my show prep. I was all set up to go on the air and everything else, and then I came across something, and it's a big problem. I'm going to get to it in a little bit, but there's a couple of other things I want to do some housekeeping on. This Barry Weiss character, she's the lady that's taken over CBS News. And, you know, there's so much talk that, she's going to bring CBS News back. When I was a kid, and I imagine a lot of you have a similar experience, when I was a kid, you know, this is 70s, 80s, when the evening news was on, that was it. I mean, the whole country stopped. 60 Minutes on Sunday nights. Whatever happened on 60 Minutes, everyone was talking about it the next day. You know, and the same went for those Sunday shows. But the networks, I think that the brand is so damaged, right? The brand is so damaged. Can it be repaired? You know, like right now, there's a rebranding attempt going on at MSNBC. They changed the name. They got some new ownership, MS Now. Same garbage there. You know, MSNBC, the brand is so damaged, just like CNN. There's nothing I think could be done to repair these things. And maybe the same is true of CBS News. You know, for news to be back in like it was with the powerhouse, first off, do we want that even to happen? Right? Right now, with the new media, of which I am a part of, things are a lot different now, right? You can get the full story. And if people don't give you the story, you've got other places to go, and you tune them out. So I don't think that these legacy, legendary news outlets are repairable. The brands are too damaged. You know, like there's a story going on right now about Campbell's Soup. Something about is the chicken 3D printed and the person that runs the company won't eat it and all this stuff. I mean, who came out with that? The competing soup companies? All this talk about Campbell's. Let me tell you, I love Campbell's chicken noodle soup. That's probably one of the best soups ever. I love Campbell's their vegetable beef. Everybody that was what we ate as kids in this country. And when we were living off of Campbell's soup for lunch, some soup and crackers, and maybe Campbell's soup is a Depression era food that made its way past the Depression and became popular. But you know what we didn't have in the 70s or 80s? When all of us kids were drinking Kool-Aid, Hawaiian Punch, and eating Campbell's soup with some crackers, you know what we didn't have? Obesity among children like we do now, right? Look at the obesity. I see some of the kids in my neighborhood outside. Oh my goodness, it's sad. So I don't know. I never really thought it was high quality meat or anything. I always liked it. You know what I used to do? You know what I really liked is not just the Campbell's chicken noodle soup. What is the one, the home style? Oh man, that was my favorite. And you're supposed to dilute it by mixing it up with, some people put a can of water, some people put half a can of water. I used to make it with no water, right? You know, that was always the best. But anyway, come on. I'm not going to listen to, you see these stories in the news, like the Campbell's soup story, okay? And you got to ask yourself, what is the root cause of that story, right? What competing interest to Campbell's has put that story out there? And that's how the news operates. The news is infomercials. Do any of you watch the local news? I do, and I watch local news because I like the crime. I like to watch the local crime stories. I like true crime and local crime and such. And so I watch local news for that. But how many stories do you see that you know are not news stories, but paid infomercials, right? Almost every newscast is a paid infomercial thing out there with some fake story about something. And I see this a lot. You know, they'll do a story. Oh, look at this company. They're, pickleball's hot. Oh man, pickleball is so hot. They're playing it in all the condos. They do a story on pickleball. And by the way, I've seen that. This is not something I made up. I actually saw this on the local news here in Palm Beach a couple years back. And there's examples like this all the time. They do this story on how popular pickleball is in all the retirement communities. And then who do they interview? They show some people playing pickleball, and then they interview this guy who has a business who turns tennis courts into pickleball courts. Oh, wow. Well, that's great. I'm not against commercial enterprises. I do commercials, right, all the time. But you know when I'm doing a commercial, don't you? That's fake news. And when you get to the national news level, I don't trust any of it. When I see this story about Campbell's, I don't know who the competitors are for Campbell's, but to me that sounds like a competitor story, right? The national news is like your local news. It's for sale. And a lot of what they push stories that the major international corporation that owns the outlet want pushed out there. And I'm looking at the clock, and I'm all messed up on the break schedule already. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'm going to try to stay on schedule today. Come back with this Barry Weiss story. I've got something on Tucker, and we're going to, of course, talk about the Comey Letitia James thing, and then this new thing that's going on that MAGA needs to worry about, and I'm going to bring it up. So I got a lot to cover. My name's Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Call us on hold. You stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free. 888-465-2631. I want to tell you guys, though, I went out this morning. It was raining. Yep. And my tire was low on air. I ran over a nail or something. It was dark. I couldn't see. And I went and filled my tire up with air. It was half empty. So I'm going to have to go over to Friendly Tire and get that plugged, because Friendly Tire does tire repairs. But when you are out in your car, your tires are so important. And before I found Friendly Tire in Margate, I'm embarrassed to tell you, but I would drive around on tires that I shouldn't have been driving on, that were bald. You don't have to do that, because Friendly Tire in Margate, you can get new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. That's amazing. As low as $75 a tire. That's out the door and on the road, because Friendly Tire does not charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or even dispose of your own tire. That as low as $75 a tire is on common tires on some of the most popular vehicles on the road today. Not some golf cart tires or Fiat tires. I'm talking about some of the most popular cars on the road today drive on these size tires. So give him a call. He has thousands of good used tires in stock, and of course he does tire repairs, which is what I need now. Give Friendly Mike a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. We'll be right back. All right, we'll be back in a couple minutes, guys. I got to be on. I've been so behind on my break schedules lately. Oh, my goodness. So if you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back. Hey, Brian Kane here. You hear me talk with attorney Barry Siegel every day about how we can help you in your Okay, my main stream went down. I got to reset it up and start it. So bear with me, guys. Having problems connecting. I'm starting the new stream up. I'm having some problems. I'm rebooting. Happens sometimes. Okay. All right, guys, we are back. I'm sorry, I lost the feed, and now we are back. I'm not sure if we're back on the radio yet, but I'm going to continue on. And Mike at the radio station, if he's listening, he can connect us in progress. So, getting back to what I was talking about before I. He told me we're going to be back in. Well, stand by, guys. He put in another commercial. Okay, here we go. 12 seconds. We're going to be back in seconds. Stand by. All right, we are back. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show. Okay, so back where I left off, if you're on hold, hang in there. So Barry Weiss is this woman that they've brought over to CBS to try to save CBS News. I've heard her described as a conservative. I've heard her described as a moderate, centrist, leftist. I don't know. And I'm not really interested in the mainstream media coming back, because the mainstream media, so I don't want CBS to be back. You know, the mainstream media is a poison in our society that have done nothing but cause all of us problems. And, but she dropped something. She was speaking to a group. This is Barry Weiss, the woman that they've made the new head of CBS News. She dropped something here that I wanted to share with you guys. Here we go. Okay, so I need to go to her equality of the right and all this stuff. But she was talking about these people in the new media that have been branded the leaders of this fake turn in the MAGA world against President Trump, where people are fed up with Trump because he's not American. And I showed you that poll at the beginning of the show where Trump is at 87% approval among Republicans, so that this idea that MAGA's turned on Trump is just a lie. It's just not true. And, you know, she listed some liberals and conservatives, but she mentioned Nick Fuentes and Tucker, and then Andrew Tate and Hassan Piker, who's a liberal leftist Islamic lunatic, who's the nephew of that Chint Uyghur character. And the new media, as great as it is, these are people that are pushed upon us. See, back in the days of Rush Limbaugh, as an example, right? Rush Limbaugh was number one by far. And that's nothing that could be pushed onto people. What I mean by that is people either listened or they didn't. And if they didn't listen and support his sponsors, he wouldn't be out there. You know, this is the longest running radio show in the state of Florida because we have listeners and we have advertisers and you guys support our advertisers. I mentioned last week my podcast, the Brian Craig Show podcast, is ranked 150th in the United States. And I know a lot of people are saying, who cares, 150th? What does that mean, right? 150th. Well, there's 10 million podcasts just on Apple Podcast and Spotify alone. And out of the 10 million, I'm 150. Which is a big, especially when I don't have any corporate backing promoting my podcast. So what I've been telling you guys is that we were woken up about the fake news legacy media by President Trump. That is very, very true. However, the new media is now being manipulated and things are being pushed upon us that are not really popular, that people don't really want to consume, but it's forced upon you on your online feeds, and people are being given platforms and prestige and clout that they have not earned or deserved. And Barry Weiss, who I don't trust her. I don't know enough about her to trust or distrust her, but she uses words that don't sound like conservative words to me. Equity and inclusion. I don't know, it sounds like a liberal. But she was talking about how Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson don't represent us in the conservative. And I agree with that. And something has come out about Tucker that I wanted to share with you. And this is pretty troubling. And by the way, this is not the big thing that I found out this morning that MAGA needs to have their eye on. That's something else. I want to pull this story up because it puts Tucker Carlson in his proper perspective, and I think it's important for people to hear this story, okay? This is in Mediaite, which is left-wing, but they have some text messages of Tucker Carlson, okay? And there's a lawsuit going on, and in this lawsuit that involves Fox News, some of Tucker's text messages have become public, okay? This is after January 6th, this text message exchange with Tucker. Listen to this. An unidentified individual told Tucker Carlson on November 9th, 2020, that Trump should concede the election. Okay? Carlson replied to this person, "Oh, I'm fully aware," and referred to Trump as a total piece of S. Tucker Carlson referred to President Trump as a piece of S. And of course, you know what that is. It's one of those words I can't use on the radio. He said, this is Tucker in the text, and this has been entered into the court record. So this is part of the court record. So this is definitely a text message from Tucker. "Oh, I'm fully aware," and referred to Trump as a total piece of S, and then said, "We can't control him, obviously. Got to do the responsible thing regardless of how he behaves." He called President Trump a POS. What the heck? And that was after January, after the Capitol incident. What the heck? So why are we paying so much attention to Tucker when he referred to the President of the United States, Donald Trump, as a POS? That's a terrible thing to say. That's a hateful description. And that's how he talks in private about President Trump. He never thought that would be public. But it is now because it was in the court record. I posted this article on Mediaite. So I'd like to ask your thoughts on that. What are your thoughts on Tucker Carlson referring to the President of the United States, Donald Trump, as a piece of S? And you can figure out what the S is. I think you've all figured it out. No, it's not piece of sale. It's another S word. POS. Can you trust him? Now, there are a lot of liberals that'll say, yeah, Tucker's right, but those are liberals and never Trumpers. I'm talking about MAGA people. So why are we putting Tucker, who called President Trump that, at a time when Donald Trump needed support, and everybody knew what was going on at the time, why are we putting Tucker on a pedestal? Because he's being fed to us by these news feeds and everything online that are telling us that he's MAGA, this person's MAGA. You need to listen to this person. I can't trust anything Tucker Carlson says, having that knowledge. That is entered in the court record in this Fox News lawsuit. That is a text message that he sent. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. I'd like to hear your thoughts on all of this. Our number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. I know a lot of you have been on hold. I got a lot to cover. I haven't even gotten to 2% of my show prep. I got a lot of things to get to. Our number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. Are you or someone you know suffering from neuropathy? Well, you don't have to. You know, your doctor, even your neurologist, like they told Steve Kane, will tell you there's no treatment for neuropathy. Go home and suffer. Well, that's not true. There is a treatment for neuropathy, and they have it at Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. And not only do they have a treatment for neuropathy that works, it's a treatment that lasts. President Trump, I'm President Trump. I'm reading an article at the same time. Steve Kane had his neuropathy treatment, I guess, 3.5 years ago next month. It'll be 3.5 years ago in December. They rid him of his neuropathy, and it is not returned. 3.5 years later. So Lighthouse Medical in Pompano has a treatment for neuropathy that works and a treatment that lasts. They can help you no matter where you're located, by the way, in the United States or Canada. If you can't make it in, that's okay. They can help you remotely. Give them a call. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. so you can take advantage of their no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back. Yeah, sorry guys. I lost my feed and connection to the radio station. I had to start a new feed on YouTube, so I'm getting everything set up still. But if you're on hold, stand by. Okay, it looks like I got everything going now. Yeah, I lost the feed. The internet went out, and it knocked out my phones and everything. Okay, we'll be back in a couple minutes. Okay, we'll be back in just over 2 minutes, guys. So if you're on hold, stand by. I will go to the phones when we get back. I did restart the mainstream, by the way. All right, we'll be back in about 40 seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. I did restart the mainstream, guys, if you're watching. Just go to the channel, and it's there. Yeah, the whole, I lost the whole internet, went out. So I lost my phone lines and everything. But we're back now. We'll be back live in 20 seconds. We're in break on the radio. And then after the top, I'm going to get into this new thing that no one's talked about yet, and I don't think people even know about it. But I'm going to get into it after the top. But your thoughts on Tucker, I'd really like to hear. All right, stand by. We are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go to the phones. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number is 465-2631. Those of you asking about Thanksgiving, I've not decided what we're doing for Thanksgiving yet, Steve. So I don't know what we're doing for Thanksgiving weekend. Everybody's telling me to take the day off, take a day or two off. I could use it, but President Trump doesn't take any days off, so I kind of feel guilty, me taking a day off. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Man, I can't believe we lose Marjorie Taylor Greene and now Tucker Carlson, another guy. First of all, I never really trusted Tucker Carlson. I always felt that he was a liberal trying to be conservative, but I guess I was right, man, because this guy, to say something like that about President Trump is really
it's bad.
Disloyal, unbelievable.
It's bad.
Unbelievable.
People get mad, but that's not that's hate. When you call someone a piece of S, that's a real that's hate. That's not just you get mad at somebody. I stubbed my toe and I blurted out the F word or something. That's hate.
That Tucker Carlson always hit me as a guy that thinks he's 100% right, and anybody who goes against what he thinks in any way is POS.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a weird dude, and I won't be listening to him ever again. I'm done with him.
Well, you just have to be on alert. I mean, and he's done a lot of damage with this. He's elevated Nick Fuentes to national prominence.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't know what's wrong with these people. An 87% approval rating, that's the CNN approval, right?
Yeah.
Because I would say it's probably a lot higher than 87.
Well, it was 87% among Republicans. So, but whatever. That's amazing. And that's what it was 6 months ago.
Yep. I don't know anybody that I know that is a Republican that voted for Trump that has anything to say but 100% approval. So it's a lot higher. And I think the last thing I'd like to say is these damn judges, man. Another one. Am I wrong? It just seems to be that the liberal judges are the only ones who don't follow the law the way they're supposed to do it. Releasing these people, these two criminals, unbelievable.
Well, the thing with Comey, Comey's a little sketchy because the statute of limitations is now up, and they brought those charges in just before they were up. So if they appeal it and go back, they're going to try to argue the statute of limitations are up. But what they're trying to do is they tell themselves, well, Trump, this is his last term. They're trying to drag everything out to run out the clock on Trump.
Yep. 100%. They do anything they can.
But I gotta tell you, I've been talking about this all year. I personally find Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino useless. Everybody that Trump has working for him is doing their job beyond expectations, except those three. It's sad. I was hoping big things are going to happen, but I don't know why, but something's wrong. I mean, Bongino must be. I always felt there's another guy I thought was. I still stick with my theory on Bongino. When Bongino was announced, I thought he was going to be. I knew Kash would be at FBI headquarters in D.C., and I figured Bongino would be out in the field kicking doors in like Tom Homan does, and he doesn't. Yeah, and I've thought with Dan. I talked about this months ago after that Fox Bartiromo interview. That obviously he was Secret Service on Obama's detail. He was a New York cop for I don't know how long. But I think he's hyped up his resume a little bit. I don't think he knows what he's doing. I don't think Bongino knows how to lead investigations and do stuff. I just don't. Well, and being in the Secret Service presidential detail, it didn't seem all that elite in Butler. So I think he's padded his resume over the years very well with his presentation. He certainly seems like he doesn't want to do much. He just wants to sit back and with a title and typical government worker that they take the pay and that's it. I'm saying he's probably sorry he didn't he quit his podcast. Well, you know what? He's lost many millions of dollars, and that's why he and his wife are having problems. The guy that they brought in, I forgot his name now. I mean, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he sucks. They should have replaced him with me. But
without a
then
doubt.
the show would be super hot, number one. But when Bongino eventually returns to his podcast, without any major arrest and twiddling his thumbs in an office all day for however long he has this job, what will the audience's reaction be to his return?
Certainly hurt my feelings about him. I always thought that the guy, like you said, the guy was going to be a tough guy once we get him, and it turns out he's just too relaxed. He's not doing what he should be doing.
Well, and then I saw over the weekend a story about Kash Patel. You know, Kash Patel's girlfriend, the pretty country singer, she's in her 20s.
Good looking.
She's in her 20s, and he's around 50 or so. How old's Kash Patel? He's a lot older than her. He's at least 20 years older than her. And she's gotten a lot of harassment from these anti-Semites because she's Jewish. And there was a story last week that he put a special elite FBI protective detail on her. And I read a story over the weekend that she was performing somewhere, and the detail, this special forces detail that he has, a SWAT team, whatever it is from the FBI, they left her. And he went ballistic.
Oh, geez.
From what the story said. Now, I think Kash Patel's too worried about his girlfriend. I think that's his primary focus, is his girlfriend, you know? And I think he should be out. I think Kash should be out. Unless they do some bigger... But they blew this thing with Comey. They blew this thing with Letitia James. These are the two big ones. Those three, they're clowns.
Yeah, we need Tom Holman to take over or somebody like that, because that's what we need. Somebody really going to clean house and not take no nonsense. But instead, we got these two. I'm wondering if it's coming from Pam Bondi to tell everybody to calm down.
I don't know about Pam Bondi. They say, well, she was Attorney General for 8 years in Florida. I know that, but I don't remember anything that she did. Like, I'll give you an example. The new Attorney General we have, whose name I don't even know, it was his idea to do Alligator Alcatraz. DeSantis takes credit for it, but it was the Attorney General that we have right now, right? So, this guy's good. I cannot remember a single thing that she did as Attorney General. Do you?
Me either.
And
I don't remember
we're
anything.
Florida guys.
She did exactly like she does now. She was doing a lot of talking and not a lot of.
Well, I've told people this many times. Pam Bondi, who's good looking, and she's 60 years old. I mean, she looks good for 60. She's much better looking in person than she is on television. I tell this to people a lot. I know it sounds weird, but it is. She's a lot better looking in person than she is on television. I don't know what it is, but she is. Maybe she's gotten by on being hot.
I don't know.
And she did come up through the bushes.
Yeah, that's another one. But I mean, it's tough to find people.
Remember when she showed up here on the Steve Kane Show unannounced, and somebody sent her over to our studio? We didn't know who she was. The person that did that was somebody that was, at least at the time, was very tight with Jeb. So that she came up through the bushes. All right, listen, I'm out of time, Doug. We're coming up on the top of the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number is 888-465-2631. We'll be back after this. All right, we're in break for the top of the hour. I got a couple more things I want to cover, and then I'm going to get into this new thing that I'm really pissed about. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm debating about what I'm going to do Thursday and Friday. I used to, before we did the cruise, I used to make Thanksgiving weekend my yearly vacation. I'd leave when we got off the air, and my wife and daughter and I, when my daughter was young, we'd go out of town and go on vacation. That'd be like my yearly vacation. I turn it into a 5-day because I'd get off the air at 9. But I've been working Thanksgiving and the day after for years, but I'm pretty exhausted right now. I really could use the time off. So I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do. I'm thinking though. Everyone's telling me to take off. Steve's not going to come on Thursday, he told me, so he's taking off. But if I take off Thursday, the day you really want off is the day after, right? The day after Thanksgiving is the day that you really want off, so you can recover from all that food. Would you rather have off Thanksgiving or the day after? Okay, I'll do that. Let's see. We've got a couple minutes till we're back. If you're new, we're in break on the radio. Make sure you subscribe if you are new. All right, stand by, guys, stand by. We'll be back in about 25 seconds. Melissa, thank you, by the way. Just saw that. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Okay, we got so much to cover today, and there's one big story I haven't even gotten to yet. Well, I was proven right the other day about something I said. I told you guys last week, and people were questioning it, and then we got a retired JAG lawyer who called in and said I was right, that Senator Kelly, Mark Kelly, because he is a retired U.S. naval captain who's receiving a naval pension, is still accountable to the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And sure enough, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, has said as much. And they're actually not only investigating him, they're considering recalling him to active duty and court-martialing him for trying to cause this uprising in the military. Well, this is amazing. And he's very worried, I can tell. He knows he went too far because he's overcompensating. Senator Kelly, he put up immediately a photograph of his medals and his uniform with his captain stripes and his dress whites on social. I saw a picture of him on an aircraft carrier next to a fighter jet. And then he went on last night with Rachel Maddow. Listen to this. He's in a panic. Oh, he's panicked. Oh, my hero. I think he's forgotten that President Trump was shot and one of the supporters was killed in the stands behind him. That's right, we do. That's right. Okay, so Senator Kelly, I believe, is in a hysterical panic attack. He's spending too much time telling you what a hero he is. Well, you know, everyone is a hero until they're not, right? Everybody obeys the law until they don't. And I don't care how many ribbons or how many missions he's flown. He was flying a mission for somebody else when he made that tape and he screwed up. And I was glad. Another thing I was right with my analysis on, because they were talking about this on the 5 yesterday, Jesse Waters, this was a CIA op, this video. And I'm glad Jesse Waters picked up on what I shared last week when it dropped. It was a CIA op. This is what they do in other countries to try to get the military to rise up against a leader. They tried it here. And they're not even hiding it. The first congresswoman in the video is a CIA person. And then they have that other congress lady whose husband was the national security advisor for Biden during the Otto Penn administration. They're not even hiding that it's a deep state CIA op. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Does Kelly seem scared to you? He does to me. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie.
Hey,
Senator
Richie.
Kelly is a piece of garbage.
Yes.
Total garbage. I didn't hear one peep out of this creep. And he is a creep. When Biden was letting in 20 million people, which was against the law,
Yeah.
and an invasion on our country, and especially him from that state that he's in, he never opened up his mouth. They were coming in Arizona by groves, and
Yeah.
he shut up.
That's
but
right.
Trump does something. If Trump does something, oh my God, such a phony. They're all phonies.
Yeah.
They are total phonies.
No doubt.
They're all actors. I believe that this guy should be up in front of the Academy Award and be given an Academy Award for that performance. This crap.
Yeah.
And that butchy-looking one that's married, that was CIA that started this whole thing. This pompous looking down on every American. I can't stand when Slotkin or whatever her name is. When I see this woman, I say to myself, you couldn't make it in the real world.
But you know, Richie, you're
She's
right.
so in love with herself.
You're right. Oh my gosh, yeah, she has a smirk on her face. She is in love with it.
Oh,
Kelly,
God.
though, Kelly seems scared. He seems like he knows he's screwed up. He's doing
I'll
too
tell you
much
this, I don't-
overcompensating, showing up, going through his. Listen, I know a lot of people that are combat veterans. They never brag about it like this guy. I've never heard somebody brag about their heroism like this guy. Have you?
Brian. I could have told everybody that I was infantry and went into the bush every night in the DMZ. I was a cook back in the base camp. You know, there's certain things you respect the ones that did it. I mean, because he went up in a rocket ship, thank God he was an astronaut, but he made a lot of money for doing it, and he became a United States Senator for doing well. But his wife getting shot helped him get elected. But to think that this guy's state was invaded, that Texas and California, the big invasion states, and he shut up for 4 years.
Yeah.
And now he's opened up his mouth.
Yeah.
President Trump is out of line.
He's from Arizona, right? How many people in his state have been killed by the illegals invaded us through the Obama and Biden administrations.
Yeah, and how much money has it cost his state? How much money has it cost his state to feed these people, to close these people, to do everything? This guy is such a phony. You know, it really gets to me. All of them. It gets to me to see this. I don't think he's scared though, because I don't think anything's going to happen to him.
No. I'm not saying anything's going to happen to him. I mean, look what happened to Comey.
No.
But he's worried. But it's an unknown at this point, right? It's an unknown.
Yeah, he's going to be looked down upon by people like me, which he doesn't give a damn. Do
you think Pete Hegseth is going to recall him to active duty and investigate him?
No, but I know, but he's got a little fear in him. But he's got to shut up. He's a traitor. He's a traitor. What he did was the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, this is the worst thing you could do. To have a union. First of all, President Trump shouldn't tell a soldier what to do, how to take orders. And you never hear him saying, if you have to listen to me. No, you have to listen to your commanding officers.
That's right.
And he was out of line. He was out of line, so were the rest of them. They have no business trying to influence a soldier.
That's right.
I mean, it's really ridiculous.
It's awful. All right, Richie, I got to run, but thanks for the call. If you're on hold, stand by. You know, there's a theme with a lot of the messages I'm sharing with you these days, and that's, of course, is Christmas. And I'm going to talk about Life Imaging FLA. This is a great holiday Christmas gift, the gift of peace of mind, or maybe even the gift of saving a loved one's life. You know, there are so many people that will not go to the doctor because they don't want to know. And you have people in your family that you're worried about. Let me tell you, my family, all of them, my wife, my daughter, my mother, my in-laws have been worried about me for years. I've told you guys, my cholesterol has been through the roof since I was in my 20s. And every doctor I've ever had told me that I was going to, if I didn't do something about it, I was going to have a heart attack and die in my 50s. And I'm in my 50s. And my wife and daughter, my mother, my in-laws have been so worried about this over the years. And I went over to Life Imaging FLA and had the heart scan and the cancer scan, and I have no cancer, no plaque buildup, and no blockage. That's great. I got the peace of mind. But you know, people go in there every day and find out they have 80% or more blockage and need surgery, and their lives are saved. So if you have someone in your family, you know, they have locations in Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach. If you have someone in your family who you're worried about, maybe they have a history of cancer in their family, maybe they have a brother or a dad that's had a heart attack, and you're concerned, pick up your cell phone and call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. Life Imaging FLA offers free heart scans with just a few minimum requirements, and that's valued at $699. So from your cell phone, pick up your cell phone and hit pound 250 and say free heart scan. That's pound 250, say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds, and set up that appointment for your loved one, your mom, your dad, your husband, your wife, your brother, whoever. Pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. My name's Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. Stand by, guys. All right, we will be back in less than a minute on the radio. Okay, I'll do that one next. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go to the phones when we get back. Oh, man, I tell you. Don't worry. Yep, the number is pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. About 10 seconds, guys. Tomorrow, I'll be at the radio station. All right, guys, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is Pete from Oakland Park.
Hey, Pete. What's up?
Well, this Mark Kelly, he puts me in the mind of Benedict Arnold because Benedict Arnold he was a great soldier. He won some very decisive battles during the Revolutionary War. You being a history buff, you know that, or a history major, But look, after all these years, every time you think of traitor, you think of Benedict Arnold, and that's the way Mark Kelly's going to go down in history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know the thing with Kelly. This is what happens, okay? He's a liberal jerk, don't get me wrong. He always has been. However, and he's been a political animal. You know, those things that he did, he's one of those guys that... He's got a twin brother who's also an astronaut. And one of the... I don't know if it was him or his brother. They're identical twins, and it's been a number of years. One of them got the last shuttle flight mission. How did you get that? Out of all the astronauts? Come on.
Yeah.
You know, these are political animals. But
he's standing over trying to act like Chuck Yeager or something.
That's exactly right. And I have known people personally who have done heroic things in war. They never talk about it.
Me
never.
Too. I know a lot of them because I belong to American Legion VFW. I was in Vietnam, and I know a lot of guys that went through hell, and they never brag about it. Or my dad was the same way. He fought in World War II down in the Philippines. Excuse me. He fought in the Philippines under MacArthur, and he had 3 Bronze Stars. He had a Philippine Freedom Ribbon with a Bronze Star. He had a bunch of accommodations, but he never would talk about it.
Yeah, so Kelly, who's talking about all of his list of heroisms and he did another, he put a photograph of all of his ribbons and medals on his dress uniform on X yesterday. And I remember there was, when Milley was around causing trouble, when he was chairman of the Joint Chiefs, there was this side-by-side photograph of Milley in his dress uniform next to General Eisenhower. General Eisenhower just wore a couple of ribbons on his uniform, and Milley looked like a Soviet general with all the things he was wearing. And these guys that go around with their medals and ribbons like Kelly did yesterday and go through their list of heroic acts, that's not a hero. That's a psycho.
No, that's just I don't know what happens to them. You think when they go in the service. I mean, when I got discharged from the service, it didn't mean nothing to me. I still follow my oath that I swore to when I first went in. And I'm 70 years old now.
Mark Kelly is one of those guys that, and I've known people like this. Every job they have is a stepping stone to the next better job. These politicians. Yep. And he's pretty high up there as senator, but maybe he wants to be vice president. And these guys are so delusional. Maybe he thinks he could be president. But that's all they do. It's just everything he's done has just been a stepping stone to the next higher position. And not only does I have never seen a veteran, when they're being pressed, put a photograph of their medals and ribbons out there like he did yesterday.
Yeah, no, it's just, but President Trump is doing a great job turning this country back around, and I hope it doesn't go back to the Kellys and the Bidens and the.
God help
I hope
us.
it doesn't turn back into that again, because that was frightening. It really
sure
was
was.
frightening.
Sure was. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. You make some good points. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going? This is Mark calling from California.
Mark in California. What's on your mind?
Yeah, so I just had a question for you. What do you see as wrong with what Kelly did?
Be more specific. What are you talking about?
Well, you're saying that he's traitorous. You're making all these.
Oh, you're talking about the video? Okay. Yeah. What's
Kelly, wrong with that? Because it clearly states anybody that holds an office, anybody that goes into the military, is only responsible and. They're only responsible to follow the Constitution.
Well, okay. Now I'm going to answer your question. And see, you don't understand because English is not your first language.
Oh, are you trying to talk shit now?
Okay, there we go. Okay. So I had to let him go, but because English is not that person's first language, they don't understand the context or the implication of what he said. Okay, and what he was saying. If you're not a native English speaker of American Standard English, you don't understand what they were implying. What they were implying and who they were talking to, they weren't doing some law briefing. They were talking to soldiers, National Guardsmen, and reservists who may be sent into an American city to stop crime, and they wanted them, and what they were implying is that that's illegal, and you are duty-bound not to follow those orders because they're illegal. So they were attempting, Kelly and the others were attempting, through their statements, to cause an uprising inside the military of those that are being sent to American cities. And, you know, those forces, because they're not regular Army, they're National Guard units from these different blue states, they're probably liberals because they're from blue states. At least a huge chunk of them are. So they believe that crap anyway. So they're telling them that if you're sent into Seattle or Chicago, that's an illegal order, and you're to stand up against that and not follow it. And because the guy that I was just talking to, that I had to let go, because English is not his first language, he doesn't understand what they were implying in the context of what they were saying. He understands the words, but he doesn't understand what they were implying with the way they said it and what they did. All right? Now, another great Christmas gift is this incredible offer from Sloman's Home Security. Listen to this. Sloman's Home Security is offering a free home security system with free professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring. You get all that for just $24.95 a month for 5 years. Just give them a call, 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. $24.95 a month for 5 years. This makes a great gift for your adult children who don't live in the home with you, for grandma, for grandpa, for your parents, if you're an adult, or for yourself and your family. This is just a great gift. And you can get this for people outside your house. And no matter where you're listening, you could take advantage of this. A free home security system and professional installation, absolutely free. You heard me. Your Sloman's Home Security System includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door or window sensors, a motion detector, notifications, and remote keypad access so you can check in no matter where you're located. Give them a call. Great deal. Great Christmas gift. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. We'll be right back. Oh my goodness. You guys get what I'm saying though about the context. Context is everything, isn't it? At these with these types of things. Absolutely it is. Now, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. All right, we're still in break on the radio, but I'm going to take a call or two. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jay, calling from, well, I'm out of Arizona, but I'm on the road in Los Angeles.
What's up, Los Angeles?
Say again?
What's up? You called me. What's on your mind?
Just wanted to question about this whole Mark Kelly thing. While you could argue or debate whether you like what he said, not like what he said, I'm sure you don't. The idea that it's illegal, and he said illegal orders, not any orders. And I believe there's a law that says that you can't recall a sitting congressman or senator.
I haven't heard that.
Active duty.
I haven't heard that.
While they're, I have.
Well, Pete Hegseth disagrees with that. He's the Secretary of War. See, the only military action that's being debated right now is using the military in American cities. So what they were doing was implying that those are illegal orders and those soldiers should not obey them. That's sedition.
If, let's say...
Hold on 1 second. We're in break on the radio. We're coming back in about 25 or 30 seconds. I'm going to continue with you after the break. So hang in there. And
absolutely.
We'll... I got to rejoin and reintroduce ourselves. What's your first name again?
Jay.
Jay from California. Okay, hold on. 10 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I got Jay from California on the line. We were talking during the break. You know, we were talking about Senator Kelly. This is sedition what these senators did. Total CIA op. They had 2 intelligence officers in the video that are in Congress. And the only military action that's being debated in this country right now is the president sending soldiers, the National Guard, into U.S. cities to stop crime. So what they were doing in that video was telling those soldiers those orders are illegal and not to obey them. All right, caller? So what are your thoughts?
I believe it was U.S. Code 973.
Okay.
That goes over what we were talking about. And that is about recalling active Congress and senators to duty. And it can't be done while they're currently serving. So it would have to be done after Mark Kelly would.
It may be. It could also. I don't know. This is the first I've heard of this, and I know that Pete Hegseth, the War Secretary, is looking into it. It may be while they're in session. It might be while they're in session. And they're not going to be in session because we're going to be in a holiday period. But whether or not that's the rule doesn't mean that he didn't do it, right?
Well, the question is it wrong? Is it a matter of opinion? Or my opinion is he was exercising against free speech by saying if you were in the military and you were given...
You don't have free speech in the service. He is still...
But you also have the responsibility to not follow illegal orders, which is specifically what he said. He didn't say all orders. He said illegal orders.
A couple of things. First of all, in the military, you don't have freedom of speech. Okay? You give up that right when you join the service, and because he receives a retirement pension from the Navy, he is still beholden to the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So he does not have free speech like a American who's not retired or in the service would have.
So you're saying that since he retired, he can't he's not enlisted currently. You're saying he can't exercise freedom?
He still has to abide by the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It's the law. It's been widely reported.
Sir, that's not true.
It is true.
That's absolutely
it is true. In fact, I had a guy on the program on Friday who was a JAG lawyer in the Navy, and he backed it up. And Pete Hegseth, through the War Department, said so yesterday, and it's being widely reported. If you're receiving, if you are retired and receiving a pension from the military, you are still have to abide by the Uniform Code of Military Justice. That doesn't mean some guy that did enlisted once or twice is always accountable, but because he receives that pension from the Navy, he still is beholden to it. That's the law.
That would be like saying that if you were in the military, you retired. Let's say a guy who was in Vietnam he's running as a Democrat for office.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't disagree with Donald Trump or Pete Jacob.
If he's receiving if he is receiving a pension from the military, no.
That literally doesn't make any sense. So I'm not.
Well, that's the law. Appreciate the call. That is the law. You're on the air. What's your name? Oh no, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
That is the law.
You're on the air.
You're on the air. What's your name?
All right, you didn't make it. Now, the rest of you want to hold standby. Now, there's another issue that I've wanted to get to all morning that if you're on hold, standby. I came across this morning. There is a guy, his name is James Fishback. He's running for Florida governor as a Republican, and he's going to be running against Byron Donalds. And I'm going to get into this. I never heard of this guy until this morning. This is very disturbing, this guy, and I'm going to get to it in a few minutes. This is part of the Bush effort to stop MAGA, okay? This guy running against Byron Donalds in the Florida gubernatorial primary. We're going to go to this in a few minutes. I'll take a couple more calls. If you're on hold, stand by. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. My name is Terry. I'm calling from Kentucky.
All right, Terry in Kentucky.
Yes, sir. Well, let me just set some of these yo-yos straight about this, the whole military illegal order. Wham, 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 wham. I'm a 21-year veteran, retired in 2005. Number one, a part of what we took an oath for is pretty simple. It says it. Part of it, and I sort of preface it, says that we will defend the Constitution in all areas, in all lands, both foreign and domestic.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's on foreign soil or whether it's on United States soil. My take on that is, if you're told by your superiors this is what you're going to do, I highly suggest these young soldiers believe that that's what they're going to do, because if they don't, I promise you they'll end up getting locked up in jail, probably in Leavenworth somewhere, and then their careers, their lives will be ruined forever by a bad conduct discharge in the military. So I would suggest that the lily livers or the left-wing soldiers we've got in there, and they're in there, that they do what they're told. They do what they're told, or their life will be done forever
this is another example of liberals calling us Nazis, okay? Because obviously, the following orders comes from the Nuremberg trials. All the generals said, well, I was just following orders when they told us to kill all those Jews. And there's no doubt in my mind that this CIA video that they put out, which is exactly what it is, was a message to the guardsmen being sent into American cities by the president. They want them to disobey the orders and refuse to do it. That's sedition.
Right. Oh, yeah, I agree 100%. And my honest, red-blooded American take on that is pretty simple. If our local government, if our state government can't protect the people in the cities from the illegals or whatever else is going on in there, the ignorance and the riots and the burning down, if they can't handle it themselves, then the government needs to handle it, and I'm for it 100%.
And they've been handling it. All right, appreciate the call. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, you'd probably let your daughter sleep over at the White House, huh? You fucking dumb shit.
Okay. Oh, my goodness. Oh, boy. The people are upset this morning. People are upset. So I want to talk about this guy. Byron Donalds is MAGA through and through, right? There's no questioning whether or not he's MAGA. He has the endorsement of President Trump. And not only does he have the endorsement of President Trump, his loyalty to President Trump and being MAGA is not even questionable, because we've seen him in action. And I got up this morning, I'm doing my show prep, and there's a new Republican who I've never heard of who's running for governor as a Republican. He's going to run against Byron Donalds. And he called Byron Donalds a slave to donors and such, which is an unfortunate term to use when you're talking about a black man in America, but that's the least of the problems. He looks like the coach of the Miami Dolphins that wears those skinny pants that Don Shula would never let out on the field dressed like that. He looks like that guy. He's 30 years old, and I've never heard of him until this morning. He's a disruptor. This is part of the movement of the Bushes to take back control of the Republican Party after Trump's second term. And remember, the Republican establishment of Florida is run by Jeb. And this guy, his name is James Fishback. And I looked him up, and there's an article in the Tallahassee Democrat newspaper about him. He's 30 years old, okay? Which, by the way, that's too young to be governor. He's never held elected office, and he's very wealthy. Let me go through this. This is in the Tallahassee Democrat. The Florida gubernatorial race just got a little more crowded. On Monday morning, November 24th, James Fishback announced his candidacy for the Republican nomination to replace Ron DeSantis. He's a 30-year-old He's a 30-year-old from the investment an investment firm CEO who has never held political office. He released a video on X ahead of his public announcement in Tallahassee to carry on DeSantis' legacy. He says Congressman Byron Donalds can't be our next governor because he won't fight for Florida like Ron DeSantis has. I will, he said. I'll fight to preserve Governor DeSantis' wins by keeping Florida free from DEI, radical transgenderism, Soros-backed prosecutors, child predators, voter fraud, and the millions of illegals that invaded our country on Kamala Harris's watch, Fishback said. Okay? This is part of the problem, all right? You know, when you've got a guy who's running for any office that you've never heard of before, he comes out of nowhere, he's very wealthy, he's young, and he's telling you everything you want to hear. If you're MAGA, that means watch out. The Madison resident joins the primary race against Byron Donalds, who has been endorsed by President Trump, by the way. And there's six other Republicans that are running in this primary. So Byron Donalds is not alone, but this guy is the new second runner behind Byron Donalds. DeSantis has not endorsed any of them. James Fishback, if Floridians outside Madison know him at all, it's because he's gained momentary fame as the person who suggested that Elon Musk and Donald Trump issue the $5,000 Doge refunds. He's the one that started that talk of it wasn't Trump that said it. It was this guy who said that Trump should give everybody $5,000 months ago. So look at the damage that's done for Trump, right? People think Trump said it. He's already done damage to Trump. James Fishback is a fourth-generation Floridian. He was born in Davie to a Colombian immigrant and tree trimmer. His father lost his business because of foreign workers who broke the law to come into this country and were paid less. His father later went on to become a bus driver, like Richie. He went to public schools here in Florida before attending Georgetown. He dropped out at 21 at Georgetown to start his own hedge fund. He worked 2.5 years at Greenlight Capital, left for his own company. He says he was a high school debate champion. He formed an anti-woke debate league for thousands of Florida students. It goes on about this. This guy, I don't know anything about him other than he came out of nowhere. He's saying all the right things and he's rich. Vote for Byron Donalds. This guy, maybe he's the greatest guy in the world, but I'm very suspect of this guy. There's going to be a lot of people that say everything MAGA want to hear all over the country in next year's elections for governors and state houses and congressmen and everything else. If you've never heard of them, don't vote for them if there's somebody else to vote for, right? That's why I'm always worried about Vivek Ramaswamy. We never heard of him, then all of a sudden he's everywhere. Just like Obama. So this guy, Fishback, run for county commission, be a mayor. Be in the state legislature. Let's see who you are. Not going for the top job and we don't know anything about you. I don't trust this guy at all. President Trump has endorsed Byron Donalds. I support whoever President Trump tells me to support. Don't you? All right. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our last break of this hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
This is George Colony. Sorry I missed your call.
Oh, no, he's on the other line. I heard the beeping. I got to call him back.
George Colony.
Hey, George, it's Brian.
Somebody called me right at 7:45. I thought it was you when I started talking.
Oh, no. That's okay. I'm going to put you on hold for a minute. When I pick you up, we'll be live on the air.
Okay, good.
All right. Hold on. All right, guys. So those of you that, whoever called them, thanks. Appreciate it. Oh, boy, oh, boy. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to talk to George Colony when we get back, and then I'll go back to the phones, and Steve will be joining us at 8. Yeah, this guy that's running against Byron Donalds, we've never heard of him. He doesn't come from a connected family. He's very wealthy at age 30. And he's saying all the right things. Do you give me a yes or no on this? Would you trust this guy to be the governor? What do you guys think? Would you trust him to be the governor? I am very suspect of this guy. You see, Byron Donalds, we know what he's about. There's nothing to worry about with Byron Donalds. He's proven that he's MAGA. He's proven his loyalty. But this guy, never heard of him before? Let me know if you guys would trust him or not. Give me a yes or no. Over Byron Donalds, nope. I thought he was the coach of the Miami Dolphins when I first saw him. Like, what? Why would the Miami Dolphins coach be running? No, I do not trust this guy. There's something very wrong with that. I mean, we shouldn't have anybody in the primary against Byron, but we do. But this guy here, he's in every media outlet in the state. He's all over the place. They're really pushing him on us. I mean, he popped up in my feed this morning. Never heard of him. You Google his name, James Fishback. He comes up all over the place. So, people don't realize that this state, the Republican Party, is run by Jeb Bush. Okay, less than a minute. We'll be back. Okay, 40 seconds. We'll be back. That guy that called in, he's on hold again. The guy that with the accent that's, and I said, because of your accent, you don't understand context. He's been on hold for 8, almost 9 minutes. Clap. There. If he's watching, he can hear me talking. He's been on hold. Still on hold. Been on hold 9 minutes. Says third or fourth call since I hung up on him. All right, we are back. I'm Brian, and it's time to check in with our real estate guy, George Colony. George Colony, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Absolutely. You know, you and I were talking yesterday, and I got a call on the air the other day from a listener. He's in his 40s, and he and his wife are renters. They've never owned a home, but they've dreamed of owning a home. And a lot of people today in the current real estate market think that it's impossible for them to go from renter to owner, but you can actually turn renters, maybe even lifelong renters, into homeowners. Can you talk a little bit about that, George Colony?
Sure. Thank you very much, Brian. Yeah, renting is forever been a question: should I rent or should I own? And what I've done is found a way for people to own their home for pretty much what they're paying in rent. The difference between renting and owning is, let's say I pay $3,000 a month in rent to a landlord, and basically my contract is I'll give you, landlord, $36,000, you pay your building, and at the end of the time that I rent, I end up with nothing. The problem is that $36,000 was paid with after-tax money. So it's a very expensive way to own a home. Turn it around, when you own a home, you can take a tax deduction for most of what you're paying every month. And I've got a way for you to own your home instead of renting, and it just makes common sense for you.
Yeah, and you know, listen, I know a lot of people, rent's pretty high in Florida these days. When people tell me how much they pay in rent, I basically live free owning my home compared to what renters are paying these days. No, it's
that's
not
right. That's right. If you rent, obviously the money that you give you're paying for someone else's home. If you own, it's paying for your own home, and eventually you're going to have appreciation, and you're going to have your money back and a profit, and it's a way to build wealth. That's why all these tall buildings are going up, because they want you to come and rent from them so you can pay for that tall building and lose your money when it's all said and done, and also lose the tax deductibility of it.
Yeah. So, you know, and I know a lot of renters think, I'll never be able to own a home. That's not the case. Call George Colony. And you have a way for them to own a home where they can save all those closing costs too, right?
I do. Actually, you know, I've been at this thing for 62 years, Brian, and I've found several answers that normally the homeowner or the renter, they don't hear it. So I found that a lot of people have a trouble finding me. So what I found was, if you Google George Clooney, you're going to find my picture right next to his.
That's true.
I don't know how he did it.
That's true.
Yeah. So that's a way to find me. So give me a call. I'm glad to help you. And I think that it's worth 15 minutes of your time to figure out, can you do better than you've done in the past? That's it.
Yeah.
And if I can't help you, then we met. There's nothing wrong with meeting people.
That's right. So I'm going to give you George Colony's number. This number rings directly to George's cell phone. It's 954-801-7320. If you're a renter, or maybe someone in your family's a renter, and they want to own, call George Colony. He can make it happen in incredible ways, and you'll save boatloads of money, not just each and every month, but year after year. 954-801-7320. That's 954-801-7320. All right, George Colony, we'll talk soon.
Make it a good day, Brian.
Absolutely. He's a good guy, guys. Give him a call. All right, so let me finish up. So we've got this guy, James Fishback, and I want to tell you right out the box, I never heard of him until this morning. And I thought first thing I do when I wake up, before I get out of bed, is I reach and grab my iPhone and I look at what's going on in the news on X, right? Before I even get out of bed. Any of you guys do that? And this guy is, stories about him running for governor. There's 7 people running already. So I think it's 8 with him. It's Byron Donalds plus 6, now him it's 8. I haven't seen a single story. I don't know anyone else who's running other than Byron Donalds. And this guy is pushed in my feed. Now, and when I saw his picture, he looks just like that coach of the Miami Dolphins with the skinny pants. And I thought, is this the Miami Dolphins coach? Because I look, no, it's not. It's this other guy. And then I find out he's 30. He's not politically connected in his family, but he's rich at 30, maybe enough money to retire already, and he's running for governor. Sirens start going on. He may be the best guy in the world. He may be the best person to hold office in the world, but we don't know him. You know, Byron Donalds has been in Congress for years. He's been loyal to Trump through difficult times. There's no questioning the loyalty of Byron Donalds. I'll tell you, Ron DeSantis, he betrayed us, didn't he? He's doing great things as governor. And if he rids us of property taxes, I'll be happy. And he's gone back to doing good things as governor, but he betrayed us. And I told you guys about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, there was a story in Breitbart that's now been picked up in most news outlets that cover the news, that the Trump or the Bush family are making moves to make a comeback after Trump's second term is over. They're going to have candidates all over the country running for office. And this guy here, he needs to be mayor. He's from Davie originally. Become the Davie town mayor, all right? Or Broward County Commission or state legislature. And then we'll learn, maybe even the House. Then we'll learn about you and know if you're really the real deal. It's very dangerous to give some guy who tells us everything we want to hear that we've never heard of before and make him the governor of our state. I'm sorry. You know, this MAGA movement is going strong. I shared with you, Steve will be joining us after the top. I'm going to go over with him. The latest poll for Trump. Trump is the most popular president of the 21st century. And we're a quarter of the way through the century already. So it's amazing. And there's a lot of people that are looking to sabotage him every step of the way. Is this guy one of those guys? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But I'm not going to support some 30-year-old who came from nothing, who's got enough money to retire by 30. He's running for governor, never held office, and he's telling us everything we want to hear. That's what the Democrats did. That's what happened with Obama. That's why I always am cautious of Vivek Ramaswamy. Never heard of the guy, and then all of a sudden he's on TV all the time. He's running for president. He's speaking everywhere. A lot of these guys, they buy their way in. And Byron Donalds, who not only has the president's endorsement, he's got a tough primary fight already with I think it's 6 people he's running against, and this will be 7, or will he be 6? It's a lot of guys in the Republican primary for the governor's race. And I promise you, multiple guys running are Bush people. The Bush family still has a lot of juice in Florida. And I know this. Byron Donalds is a big threat to them. He's not just MAGA, and we know he is. He's black MAGA. That terrifies them because Byron Donalds could go from the House to the governor's mansion to the White House as president or vice president down the road, or maybe the Senate forever. So he is a clear and present danger to the Democrats because he's black MAGA. They hate black MAGA more than any other kind of MAGA, okay? Now, it is Thanksgiving this week. You know, people make these resolutions to lose weight. You can make that losing weight resolution come true before New Year's gets here by calling Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I'm going to give you their number. It works. I've lost over 35 pounds without exercise, without starving myself, without any pills or injections. Have you seen Michelle Obama? Everyone's saying she's on Ozempic or something. Does she look good? No. She's too skinny. She looks sick. You want to look good. You want to look natural. You don't want everybody telling you look like Michelle Obama, right? Coastal Weight Loss Secret, it does work. I ate foods I would normally eat. I've kept the weight off without effort. Give them a call and schedule your free no-charge consultation. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. All right, we've got 1 hour to go. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Steve Kane joining us next. Back after this. Hold on. Okay. Hello? Hey.
Hello?
Hey, all right. You there?
I'm here. Take the lead.
All right. Well, okay, we got some calls, and I got the, I want to recap. I got the latest opinion or approval rating for Trump.
Take the lead.
All right. I'm going to put you on hold for a minute. Hold on. Okay. We'll be back in 2 minutes, guys. All right, Steve, you there?
I'm here.
Oh, we got 2 minutes. Actually, less than 2 minutes.
You think this impeachment thing's going to come off?
I don't know what you're talking about. You have to tell me.
Well, I'm talking about I'm talking about the court martial.
Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We'll talk. Okay, hold on. Can't find my copy. Gosh darn it. Okay. Okay, less than a minute. Well, can't find my commercial copy.
What's the sponsor?
Hold on. I just need the phone number. That's all I'm looking
Wings Plus?
No. Hold on. My list of phone numbers. I can't believe. I have to find it as we go. Okay, found it. Okay. No. Shoot. All right, welcome back. The final hour has begun. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Steve joining us. Hey, Steve.
Good morning, Mr. Craig. How are you doing this morning?
Right. All right. I was telling everybody we have not decided what we're doing Thanksgiving weekend. I'm going to kind of decide, I don't know, today or tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to be on the air or not. I don't know.
You be sure to let me know.
You told me you're not going to work on Thanksgiving. So I'd be flying solo.
I'm trying to work it out, but I got a fight on my hands here with my producer.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just the reason it's hard for me to take a day off because President Trump never takes a day off, and he's working 18 hours a day. Right?
I know he's a busy man, no question of that.
So if President Trump is working so hard, if I take a day or two off, I feel guilty.
I feel more confused than ever with what's going on. Do you think they're going to go after this guy, Kelly?
Well, Kelly, Kelly Senator Kelly, not only is he in big trouble, Steve, he's freaking out. And I wanted to I'll go over that with you. But I wanted to tell you, this is CNN. President Trump's latest approval rating is the highest approval rating of any president at this point in their second term in the 21st century.
This is CNN?
CNN, yeah. I played it earlier, so I'm going to tell you that. And I want to keep in mind, for those of you that say, oh, the 21st century, well, we're a quarter of the way into the century, right? So we're pretty deep in, okay? By this time in the last century, the First World War had been won and over, and we're moving towards the second one already, right? Among Republicans, President Trump's approval rating is 87%. 87% approval rating among Republicans.
That's incredible.
Yeah, there's only been 2 other presidents that have had 2 terms in the 21st century, Bush and Obama.
The amazing thing about it is it's a CNN poll.
Yeah.
That's what makes it hard to believe.
Trump's approval rating at this point in his second term is 9 points higher than Obama and Bush. And Obama had a free ride because he was the first black president. His support is 9 points higher than Obama's at this point in his second term, and 9 points ahead of George W. Bush in his second term. And President George W. Bush had very high approval ratings because the war in Iraq was going pretty hardcore in his second term. So people rallied behind the president in wartime, and it was pretty rough. So this narrative that they've been trying to create with Marjorie Taylor Greene and these fake MAGA people, that MAGA is turning against President Trump, not only is his approval rating among Republicans at 87%, it's the same number it was 6 months ago. He was 87% 6 months ago, and he's at 87% approval rating 6 months later as of yesterday. That's according to the Clinton News Network, CNN, right?
Well, according to the way you see it, when do you think they're going to make their move on Kelly?
Well, that one is okay. Now, Kelly is freaking out because what I told you last week, which you didn't believe, and people said, well, where have you heard that from? And you said it, and I told you, and now it's being backed up by everyone, including the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. Because he is a full retirement naval officer, Kelly, he receives a full pension from the Navy. Right. He is still beholden to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, according to the War Department, according to the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. And Kelly is freaking out, okay?
Well, what do you think they're waiting for?
Well, it takes time. It takes more than 10 minutes. This just came out yesterday.
Because everything you're saying adds up to a solid case against Kelly, and granting all these things are true, I'm trying to figure out why we don't know. Pretty decisive guy most of the time.
We don't know if or when it's going to happen, but we know this. Senator Kelly is freaking out and afraid it's going to happen. He did a few things yesterday. The first thing he did when Pete Hegseth came out and said that he's subject for recall and they're looking into recalling him and court-martialing him, the first thing, did you see what Kelly's first action was in response to that? Oh, it was he took a photograph of his dress uniform with all of his medals and ribbons and posted a photograph of it on social media, right? So, and he has more ribbons and medals than a general of the Soviet Union in those old parades.
This is Kelly?
Kelly took a picture of all of his medals and his uniform and posted it on social media, declaring himself a military hero.
Then, it sounds like he's ready for battle.
Yeah, no, it sounds like he's scared to death. And then last night, he went on Rachel Maddow's show and went through all the heroic acts that he did during his time in the service. From dodging rockets to flying rockets and all this crap. I've never heard of anything like this. I mean, he is...
Sounds like he's freaked. From the way you're describing it, I get the impression he was freaked out.
Yeah, he's scared. And then Colonel Vindman came out and said he's willing to come out of retirement to defend him in the court martial.
My favorite.
Yeah, Colonel Vindman, who's probably a Russian spy. He was born in the Soviet Union, Colonel Vindman, in Ukraine, but it was part of the Soviet Union at the time. So his parents were raised in the Soviet Union. But so Vindman's defending him and says he'll come out of retirement and defend him in the court-martial. So whether or not it's going to happen, we don't know. It's probably less likely than likely to happen, but Senator Kelly is afraid it's going to happen because he's spending too much time telling everybody what a hero he is. Have you ever seen somebody in the service show their medal? The only people I've seen show medals off like this are the stolen valor fake people that weren't really in the service. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So everything's going well. Everything's going well. I'm excited. Aren't you?
I'm a little confused, a little apprehensive.
Yeah, don't be confused.
I mean, there's so much going on. It's when you look at the different towns. What's going on in Chicago? That's where I wonder if they're going to bring back the army to meet what's going on, the violence in Chicago.
Well, see, that's what Kelly and them were doing, right? Because they know that Trump's thinking of sending the army into Chicago. So they were telling the soldiers that are ordered to Chicago to disobey. That's who they were talking to. Everybody knows it. All right. Do you want to take some calls?
Sure.
All right. Let me give out the number. It's 888-465-2631. Toll free no matter where you're listening. All right. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air once, twice. All right. You missed your chance. The other thing, Steve, is out of all the Thanksgiving weeks I can remember in this business, I've never seen news like this during Thanksgiving.
It's bizarre.
It's usually just, turkey
they
shopping.
usually slow down the events over the holidays and go to milder stuff, but not today.
And this Clinton judge in the Comey Letitia James case, that's not going to work out well for them.
No, I don't think so.
That's not going to work out well. They got a crooked judge. It's going to get appealed. It may have to go all the way to the Supremes, and they'll be back. What a lot of what's going on with Comey, Letitia James just got lucky, right? Comey doesn't care about her. She's not part of the club. What Comey and them are trying to do is just drag this out, and they figure, if we drag this out 3.5 years, there'll be a new attorney general. Trump will be out of office, and then it'll be over. So they're just going to keep judge shopping to Democrat judges and try to drag it out. But I think we're going to get a quick appeal on it, don't you? There's no way.
It sounds that way to me. It sounds kind of open and shut.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, we're going to take our break, and I'm going to put you on hold, Steve, and everybody on hold. If you're on hold, stand by. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be right back. Okay. Hey Barry, it's Brian.
Hey Brian.
Hey, we have just over a minute. I'm gonna put you on hold, and then we're gonna talk tomorrow too, right? And then you'll be off.
Tomorrow.
Or will you not be able
sure.
to? Okay, all right. I'll put you on hold just for a minute. Okay. Steve, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, I'm going to conference Barry in, and so stand by. All right, Barry, we have 30 seconds.
All right.
All right, here we go. All right, and now it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group 2 days before Thanksgiving. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How are you today?
Doing well. Well, what do you have for us this Thanksgiving week?
Well, can't believe that this week is already Thanksgiving.
No kidding.
So first of all, Brian, I want to wish you and your family a very happy Thanksgiving, and Steve and his family, and everyone in the audience as well. And, we hear about Thanksgiving, and then we hear about Black Friday and Cyber Saturday and doorbusters and all these things where you end up going to these stores. Sometimes you get things that you really need, whether it's an appliance or a mattress or things like that. But a lot of times it's just whatever you want to call it, junk or electronic gadgets or whatever. But really, if you think about what are some of the more important things that you can do with your money, and that would be taking care of your family, taking care of yourself. Yeah. And of course, we're a law firm that does estate planning, elder law, and probate. And so giving the gift to your family of having peace of mind, having protection, making sure that you don't leave a mess behind, that's what we offer at the Siegel Law Group. And if you've been listening, we have our own doorbusters, our own Black Friday deal as well, where we are giving Steve Kane listeners the opportunity to not only take care of this for themselves and their family, but to do it at a lower investment. And that is that $1,000 off for those of you who schedule your appointment within the month of November, meaning you can schedule it. You can actually come in anytime before the end of the year, but it needs to be on the books by the end of November, and then you come in by the end of the year, and you'll save $1,000 off any of our estate planning packages.
Okay, so let me restate that, because when people understand, and we're getting in the Thanksgiving week, so law offices aren't open on Thanksgiving, but so you got to call soon. If you make your appointment with the Siegel Law Group for any time during the rest of 2025, but you call to make that appointment within the month of November, you save $1,000 off of the legal services. Do I have that right, Barry?
Yeah, and you made a good point, because we will be closed on Thursday and Friday. So really, the last opportunities are today and tomorrow.
Yeah, and let me tell you, if you already have an estate plan and it's 3 years of age or older, even if it was done by another law firm, the Siegel Law Group will look that over for you. And when somebody has an estate plan that's over 3 years old, Barry, and you review it, how often do you find one that does not have things properly set up or properly funded, where some probate or some other issue might come up?
Actually, pretty often. We do find these issues that come up, like you just said, that they're not properly funded. There's language that should be in there that's missing, or it's just something that the client themselves have an issue where they where they no longer want the particular person in that fiduciary role, or beneficiaries need to be changed.
That's right.
All of those kinds of things that we look at. That there could be language that's missing in the healthcare surrogate. The HIPAA language, for example. There's all kinds of things that we look for when we do a review to make sure that the people have a proper estate plan that's going to work when they need it.
Absolutely.
And won't run into problems.
So listen, you've got today and tomorrow, and I'd recommend calling today, because you know how office workers get, Barry. On the day before Thanksgiving, The day ends a little earlier sometimes on the day before, but call the Siegel Law Group. Take advantage so you can save that $1,000 off your legal services. The number is 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. And Siegel is spelled S-I-E-G-E-L. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll finish out the week tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Brian.
All right, take care. All right, you back with us, Steve?
I'm with you.
Okay, so things are going incredibly well. Oh, by the way, you're the one, you had all kinds of problems when Barry, that's how we met Barry, is he reviewed your trust, and it was a trust in name only. It was totally useless, until he reviewed it, and it saved your family. It wouldn't have bothered you. You'd have been dead, but your family would have been a mess. If Barry had not reviewed your trust, Steve, and updated it, your family would be in big trouble. Big trouble.
Because my last lawyer had totally, he was somebody you would know in the talk world, but
yes.
He totally messed things up.
I asked Barry a couple weeks ago, when people have to go through probate, right, and the family doesn't have money to pay a lawyer, what happens? He says that sometimes they take out loans. Can you imagine? That's a mess. Isn't that sad? You can avoid all that. All right, anyway, back to this. So things are going incredibly well. I was talking, Steve, we've got this new guy who may be a Bush plant running against Byron Donalds for governor of Florida that I got my eye on. The Bush family, it leaked out a couple weeks ago that the Bush family are making a move to take back control of the Republican Party from Trump after this term. They don't believe he's going to run again in 2028 like we do, Steve. But they're trying to cause all kinds of mayhem. And if you watch, like there's one story, they're trying to J.D. Vance is the front runner after Trump, no doubt. And there's some new polls showing that he has over 80% support among MAGA Republicans to be the second MAGA president after President Trump.
Pretty popular.
Yeah, I mean, he is. And, he's got a great American success story, right? The Hillbilly. I read his book, and I told you to get the movie, Hillbilly Elegy, that Ron Howard made. Glenn Close plays his grandmother that raised him. It's very good. And the guy that plays him is pretty famous, too. I just can't remember his name. But they're trying to destroy J.D. Vance's reputation. And they're trying to say that he's got marital troubles and he's having an affair with Charlie Kirk's wife. And his wife was seen somewhere without her wedding band on. So they're saying, there's...
By the way, speaking of the wife, there's a rumor in the paper today that she's pregnant.
Who? Oh, Charlie Kirk's wife?
Yes.
I don't know if I believe that story. I've heard that. She's wearing tight leather pants all the time. If she was pregnant, would she be wearing tight leather pants?
She's obviously in the early. She's in the early stage. If it's true.
No, this is what they're doing, Steve. This is what they're doing. See, this is part of what I was just telling you. Okay. Charlie Kirk's been dead September, October, November. Right? They're trying to imply that she's pregnant by another man, not Charlie. If she was impregnated by Charlie, unless he got her pregnant the morning of his assassination by that never-Trumper, she'd be showing, right? So
the impression I got reading the Post this morning.
No, they're trying to. They've been trying to create a narrative that Charlie Kirk's widow and J.D. Vance are having an affair. Okay, and this is part of that story. Okay, the first thing a couple weeks ago. J.D. Vance was at that Turning Point event, and she gave him a hug. Okay? And she gave him a big hug. So they were saying, they started immediately saying, well, that's not just a normal hug, that's an intimate hug, because she put her hand on the back of his head during the hug. Then they had a story earlier, a few days ago, or maybe it was yesterday I saw it, that J.D. Vance's wife they've been going with that story for a while. In fact, over the weekend, Megyn Kelly even asked her about it. When she interviewed her at a Turning Point event about the hug with J.D. So they've been getting that narrative going. Then there was a photo with JD's wife without her wedding ring on. Which I don't have my wedding ring on now. I don't always wear my wedding ring, you know. I didn't wear it for a long time because I outgrew it before I lost all this weight from Coastal Weight Loss Secret. So it was too tight, but it fits well now. But I don't wear it. I wear it if I'm going out somewhere or something, but I don't always wear it. But they got a picture with her with JD Vance's wife without the wedding ring, which they're saying that symbolizes marital trouble over the hug with Charlie Kirk's widow. And now this thing that she's pregnant, they're implying that JD impregnated her. That's what that's all about. So what they're doing is they're doing a preemptive slander work job against JD, assuming he's going to be running for president after these people. You think they're going to you think the Bush family are just okay? We're out of power now. We're retired. I don't think so. So no,
well, I'd like to believe more. I'd like to believe in the Bush family.
You can't trust the Bush family.
There was a time when I trusted them.
Not anymore. So so if she's pregnant, right? Charlie Kirk was assassinated on September 10th. So that would be all of September, all of October, and today's November 20, all of November. She'd have to be at least 3 months pregnant, right? More maybe even.
Yeah,
she would be showing right now. So this nonsense they're doing that she's pregnant. If she's pregnant, she's wearing tight leather pants all over the place. She's not showing. She would have to have gotten impregnated after Charlie's death. Don't you see what they're doing? It's the same people. The same people that killed Charlie Kirk are behind that video, and now they're trying to destroy Erica Kirk's reputation. Okay, they're trying to destroy Turning Point. They're trying to destroy Turning Point. There's no if she was pregnant by Charlie, she'd be showing by now, wouldn't she?
Different women carry differently.
Pregnant women don't wear tight leather pants. That's you can terminate a pregnancy that way. No, she wouldn't be wearing no. It's what they're doing is disgusting. And
I'm sure we've got opinions in our audience, that's for sure.
We do. Now, since I mentioned it, hold on, Steve, all my copy is all mixed up here today. But since I mentioned it about losing weight, Thanksgiving, everyone's going to be pigging out, right? And people make New Year's resolutions. Don't wait for New Year's to lose weight. Start right after Thanksgiving, okay? You want to look good for your Christmas party? You want to look good for your Christmas party or maybe your family event where you're seeing people you see once a year, every 5 years, 10 years, or maybe you haven't seen in 20 or more years. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Coastal Weight Loss Secret, it works, guys. It works. I can't wait to see people that I haven't seen since last year in my family. That I'm going to be the one that's thinner than last year when everybody else has gained weight. Because I started Coastal Weight Loss Secret in January, the Monday after the inauguration of the president. And I've lost over 35 pounds. Have you seen Michelle Obama with this weight loss she's gone through, Steve?
No.
Okay, now Michelle Obama is an unattractive woman no matter what, but she looks like Karen Carpenter now. She's lost, and everybody's saying she's on Ozempic. You don't want to look like that. It's like when you get a facelift. You don't want people to say, oh, you've had a facelift. You want to look, like Martha McCallum on Fox has had a facelift and a necklace. She looks great. You can't tell she had surgery. You know what I mean? And the same goes with weight loss. You want to look good. You want to look natural. You don't want that Ozempic look. I lost all this weight without any shots, no injections, no pills, nothing, right? Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call and lose all that weight you're going to gain over Thanksgiving before your holiday events, okay? No matter where you're located in the United States, they can help you. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. All right, Steve, I'm going to put you on hold, okay, for the bottom. I'll be back with you. Okay, hold on. All right, we'll be back in a moment. All right, Steve, you there?
I'm here.
All right, we got less than a minute. Hold on, we got some breaking news, I think. Hold on.
Oh, that would be nice.
Let me check. All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane's here. I'm Brian Craig. Our number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. All right, are you back with us, Steve?
I'm with you.
Okay, I got some breaking news. It's being reported by The Hill, which, by the way, is a very good online news source. The Hill. If you guys don't follow The Hill, you should. They're very good. They're reporting that Ukraine has agreed to the U.S. Marco Rubio, Donald Trump peace proposal, most of it. So maybe we'll have a Christmas peace with Russia and Ukraine. Wouldn't that be something? That would be pretty good.
Has it been confirmed?
No, well, The Hill's reporting it that there was, I guess, a 19-point plan. That there was the Russian plan the other day, and then Trump and Marco came out with this 19-point plan, which I'm not sure of all the differences in it, whatever that is. And and it's being reported by The Hill that Ukraine has agreed to the core of that plan, whatever that means. So I mean, we could have a peace by the end of the year. You know, it's going really. You know what Trump's doing? He's financially breaking Russia by starving them out from the oil money. He got India to stop buying oil from them. And I bet you he's gotten China to slow down the buying of oil, too.
But he was having trouble getting everybody to sign on to that plan. That's been the most recent problem.
Ukraine cannot win. They've got to agree. I don't know how much land they're going to have to give to Russia, but it's the way it is. I mean, what are you going to do?
It looks like it's over, yeah.
I mean, I don't know who they have left fighting. The Russians... it's so bad they've lost so many troops in Russia that this has been going on for a year. They have North Koreans fighting for the Russians. You know, it's bad. I mean, it's bad. I mean, thousands are dying. And all these people that are saying, oh, they should fight to the end. It's easy for you to say, living in the city of Sunrise and Tamarack, you know. It's
exactly.
easy to say. I love all these generals in Coral Springs and Boca that are like, fight to the end. Yeah, well, you know.
Good point.
Yeah. All right, let me take some calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Michael. I'm calling from California.
Michael in California. What say you?
What's that?
What's on your mind?
I was just wondering how Trump is as popular as ever when he's, I think, at negative 36. And also, I fucked your mom.
Oh, that's nice. Isn't that nice? I appreciate that. Yeah, we've got nice people out there, Steve, don't we? I mean, we got We've got some nice people out there, Steve, don't we? Are you back with me, Steve? All right, hold on. Let me put everybody on hold there. Hold on. All right, Steve, you back with us? Okay. Oh my goodness. I want to explain this thing with Trump's approval rating at 87%. That's among Republicans. It doesn't matter what Democrats think of President Trump. So you could do a poll that has Trump in the negative or a much lower number that includes Democrats are never going to support him or anyone he endorses. So it doesn't matter what Democrats think. When you're doing a poll, it only matters what the people think that will vote and support for that person or their endorsed candidates. So anyone who tells you that this 87% approval rating that the president has from CNN it doesn't matter. There's this other poll. This is a poll of Republicans, and those are the only people that matter when you're polling President Trump. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. Our number's toll free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll free call no matter where you're listening. I wanted to tell everybody, Steve, about Wings Plus on Sample Road in Coral Springs.
Oh, my favorite.
Yeah, and those of you that are regular listeners, I don't know if you've noticed over the years, we tend to talk about Wings Plus closer to the end of the show because every time we talk about Wings Plus, I get hungry. And my mouth and I know this. I don't know what they call these kind of memories, but I can even mentioning it, I can smell the wings right now.
Sense memory.
What do you, other than the lemon pepper, what do you get, Steve, when you go to Wings Plus?
I get the wings. I love the soups. They have great homemade soups. Clam chowder, out of this world. Everything is homemade. Nothing is out of a can. And it's just a great place to watch the bowl games. We're coming into that football-intensive time of year with the bowls that are all going to be going, and the NFL plays for what's going to be the playoff period coming up.
Yep.
So it's a great way to go with Wings Plus because you order before the game starts, you put in your order, and you go over and pick it up at halftime. Mm-hmm. You don't have to wait. There's no waiting, no nothing. And it'll make you the hit of any party you throw. If the food is by Wings Plus, you're going to have a big smile on your face, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and a couple things about Wings Plus, and I'm going to give you the location and the phone number if you want to call. Everything is homemade, including the sauces on all the wings. Everything is homemade. The soup's homemade. The chili's homemade. The wing sauces are homemade. Nothing comes out of a can. And the other thing, Steve, I've always been a wings guy. I found Wings Plus before you did, and I said you got to eat here. The wings are filled with chicken. Other places they don't have too much chicken. It's a lot of breading and other things to make you think you're eating chicken, and you're just eating what I mean. The bread, like Wings Plus. I don't know what the word to describe it. They're full of chicken. The wings at Wings Plus, but there's no disguising it with breading like these other places do. And you know what I'm talking about? You guys know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Wings Plus is located in Coral Springs, about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road. And if you want to call ahead, the number is 954-752-4460. 954-752-4460. That's 954-752-4460. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian, what's up?
Hey, Brian. Hi, Steve. How are you? I'm curious, Brian, were you one of the first people to break the story that Senator Kelly might be in a little trouble with his military background?
Last week, yeah, and Steve gave me a hard time about it. He says, well, you said nobody else is reporting this. Where are you getting that from, Brian? I said, well, I read up on it. I looked at
Well, I did not hear it any other place until I heard you mentioned it on the radio show. That was great insight, Brian. That was a terrific call.
Well, and I'll tell you another thing. I'll tell you another thing, too. It's winter time. Yeah. That means the president and his team are at Mar-a-Lago this time of year, so you never know who's listening.
Well, that's right. I mean, if they heard that you live on the radio doing that, they're going to say, "Wow, who is this guy on the Steve Kane Show?"
They already know. Okay, they don't have to.
I know they do. You and Steve are hallmarks here in Florida, and I think actually globally now.
Yes.
How does a sitting senator, a lawmaker, a guy who's been in the Senate for quite a while, has a military background? He has no clue that he's actually considered part of the military still, and that he could be grounds of insurrection.
Why do you think he's putting pictures of all of his medals and ribbons all over the internet and going on Rachel Maddow telling you what he hear? I've dodged rockets and flown rockets, and all this crap.
This is one of our senatorial leaders, and he's realizing this after the fact.
Yeah.
He didn't think about this ahead of time.
Yeah, not too swift. Not too swift.
Not too swift at all. I mean, is this a good example of not too great leadership? I think he's on the hook. I think they got him, and I don't think he's going to be the first one. I don't know what he was thinking about, but I don't know. That poll, 86% approval rating.
87.
87. I'm even surprised that CNN didn't try and find an excuse not to broadcast that, not to show the numbers on that.
Nope. The thing about Kelly. Let me ask you this, guys. What do you think, Steve? We don't know if they're going to do it. Is it if they recall him to active duty to investigate him, that would cause that everybody would freak out. The whole country would stop. Is it worth it for Trump to do that?
Especially since he has other storylines running during this vacation period. He's got the Venezuela thing, which he's trying to focus on, and his plate is awfully full. So he's got a lot of, he's running a public relations company over there.
Yeah.
So he's got to decide what he wants to feature and what he wants to prepare the American public for. So it's a complex deal from a public relations point of view.
But how about the people that were above Senator Kelly when he was in the measure, like General Miley, the head of the Joint Chiefs, talking with his counterpart in China, telling him what ahead of time?
If they, the only time I remember court-martials getting a lot of publicity, there was when Bill Clinton was president. There was a couple of high-profile. One was of a sailor, enlisted man, who violated the "Don't Ask, Don't Tell." He you know what I mean? He was like gay, and there was a high. If they recall a sitting United States senator to the Navy, and then investigate him, that would be the whole. Not only would the whole country and media stop and revolve around it,
which is probably why it's taking so long.
Is it worth the Trump administration to do that? Wouldn't it stop the works of everything in the media in Washington? It would be their whole midterm election strategy. And and then if he didn't get, and then if we lost the case and he came out acquitted, and I bet you the military justice system works faster than the civilian. We could go in. It seems very risky. There's still the officers that would be in charge of overseeing that would be probably at least captain and above, and admirals. And Pete Hegseth just recalled all the generals and admirals and reprimanded them a couple weeks ago. And you could get an acquittal of him, and it would. I don't know. Maybe it's too risky to recall and charge him. There's too many wokesters in the military.
Is it possible there's a bigger story behind this that hasn't broken yet?
I know that Kelly looked scared on Rachel Maddow last night. Yes,
he does. Yes, he does. I think that I think there's a bigger story here. More people involved, more things going on.
Yep.
I wouldn't put it past Trump to push this.
Well, listen, we got to run for the gold report, so I'm gonna let you go. But Steve, I'm gonna put you and everybody on hold. Let me ask you this. Here we are, 2 days away from Thanksgiving. Are you in pain? Don't go to Thanksgiving in pain. Go see Dr. Philip Appleton. The consultation is free, and appointments are not necessary. And Dr. Appleton's open today and tomorrow. Go in today. If you're in pain, go see Dr. Appleton. Take advantage of the no-charge consultation and let Dr. Appleton explain and show you what his laser-away pain treatment can do for you. He's rid me of pain 7 times. And guys, I'm telling you, The pains he'd rid me of was not just stubbing toes. These were pains that were borderline disability, pains that would leave me in tears, pains that I just wanted to go to sleep and not suffer. And he rid me of all of these pains. And guess what? None of the pains have returned. Not one. Give him a call. Go to Thanksgiving dinner pain-free. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back.
Good morning.
Hey, it's Brian. We have 1 minute. I'll put you on hold for a moment. Hold on. All right, Steve, you there?
I am. I didn't miss the go for it, did I?
No, that's coming up next. I just got William on hold.
Okay, make sure you...
Yeah, I will. I'm going to conference him in just a couple seconds.
Sounds good.
Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. I'm going to conference William in. All right, William, we have 25 seconds.
Okay.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. Steve's here. It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking today?
Metals looking very strong. A big rally yesterday on the precious metals as the Fed, about 80% consensus that the Fed will lower interest rates in December, is pushing the metals higher also. The dollar lower. The gold yesterday traded in a range of $4,040 to $4,141, $100 swing there, and closing near the highs at $4,134.10 the ounce, which was up $69.90 the ounce. Silver, a big gain also of $1.36, closing at $51.30. Platinum was up $31 at $1,546. And palladium gained $13 at $1,377. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $4,110 on the low, all the way up to $4,157. And right now we're at $4,145 an ounce on gold, up $10.90. Silver's up another 25 cents at $51.55 the ounce. Platinum is up $11 at $1,557. And palladium is up $5 at $1,382. So the market's very strong, still holding well above those support levels and indicating that they certainly want to go higher, possibly for a nice Christmas rally.
Now, let me ask you, when we get close to the end of the year, a lot of the mints are starting to, a lot of the coins become in short supply because next year's coins are being made, right, by the mints? So
that's very true, yes.
Yeah, so when it comes to some of the favorites in the gold and silver, what is available and what's not?
Pretty much, we have everything available. The markets have given us the opportunity to maintain our positions and make available just about all of the coins at the normal premiums, as opposed to some of the high premiums that we often see at the end of the year when the mints shut down and get ready to cross over their production to the new 2026 coinage. So that being said, the best buy on silver still remains the 90% silver coins at $2 for Steve Kane listeners, $2 below the price of silver. Excellent value there. And pretty much all of the gold coins are available at very reasonable premiums also. And of course, the pre-33 gold coinage is one of the best buys in the market that we've seen in ever, as far as I'm concerned.
Since 1933.
So that should be pre-1933 U.S. gold coins. The U.S. double eagles, the old $20 gold pieces, are one of the best values you can get with practically very little premium, in some cases less than even the 1 ounce gold eagles of modern issues. So that's something Steve Kane listeners should consider adding to their investment portfolio.
You know, the pre-33 gold, that's amazing. The two that you were talking about, pre-33 gold coins and the 90% silver, at these prices, this is unheard of low prices for both of these. And those of you that are regularly into the metals, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And those are two of my favorites, you know, because my grandfather, he had those coins that he used to walk around, the $20 coins. They said in 1933, with a 20-ounce gold coin, you could buy a man's suit. What can you buy with one today, right? A lot.
Yep, a lot.
A lot. All right. Listen, give William Youngerman a call. He opens up at 10 a.m., 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, or stop in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And find both his phone number and address online at williamyoungerman.com. Open regular hours today and tomorrow, but closed Thursday and Friday, William?
That's correct.
Okay,
guys. Thursday and Friday.
All right, we'll finish out the week tomorrow.
Have a great time.
All right, take care. Take care. All right, you back with us, Steve?
I'm with you.
Yeah, are you into that pre-33 at all?
No.
Oh, Steve, yes. You're old enough to be around when that was still around. I mean, that was in regular circulation. Oh, have you looked at those coins?
Yeah, no.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Listen, somebody, coins make great gifts for the holiday too.
That's right.
I always give the kids I don't give the kids gold. I give them silver because I'm not in your bracket yet.
Oh yes.
But I'm working on it.
Yeah, I'm in the gold bar bracket. Yeah. No, but anyway, give him a call. All right. So this Thanksgiving week. I mean, this is astounding what's going on, because you look at the news. See, President Trump is working 18 to 19 hours a day. And I know a lot of people say he needs to take a rest. He's got so much to do, and usually during a Thanksgiving week, the news is dead. There's nothing to talk about. People are talking about, how to dress your turkey.
There's never a dull moment with the Donald, that's for sure.
They're talking about Black Friday, and all this stuff. And all you're hearing is political news. And the news cycle is moving as fast as it is like the week before a national election. I've never seen things happen so quickly in Washington. We've got this thing with Senator Kelly, who could be court-martialed. I don't know. I got mixed feelings about it. Do you think it's worth them taking the risk? I mean, if they arrest...
I think you hit on the key word there, is risk. I mean, there's no question. No matter how it would turn out, there's still a major risk that I don't know if it's possible to outweigh the risk.
See, because of his rank, if he were court-martialed, the jury would be people that are at least captain and above, right? So, and the judge would be at least a captain or an admiral.
But there's no way of telling how the emotions of the jury is going to
exactly. It's
come out on it.
They could be for all you know, there's going to be a transgendered captain on the jury or a transgendered admiral as the judge that's pissed off at Trump. The military is still filled with wokesters. Okay, so I think it's. Well, I'll support whatever they do, and they know what's best because they know the players more than we do. But to me, it seems like a gamble. that I don't know if it's worth it, because if they recall him and then...
Well, I mean, look, the language is important. It doesn't look like a gamble. It is a tremendous gamble.
And is it worth the risk?
Exactly right. Exactly right. Because if it goes well, it's one way, but if it goes the wrong way...
devastating.
Yeah, it could be real trouble.
It would embolden the forces of evil, right?
But I'm sure they weighed all this stuff in advance. I doubt that they're first tackling this problem now. I'm sure they've got an end game in their mind.
Oh yeah,
it's just hard to imagine what it is.
You know, and I'll tell you, this thing with Comey and Letitia, that Clinton judge made a big mistake. Okay, you know.
Well, they're going to get reversed. That decision is going to be reversed.
Yeah, and the mistake they made is both of them are clearly guilty of what they did, especially Letitia, because these are mortgages and there's so much paperwork with the mortgage.
It's black and white.
Yeah, yeah, you know, and it looks like what it is: corruption from the bench. You know, so you know they let Comey and Letitia high-five each other over Thanksgiving, but that is going to be reversed, and it's going to be worse on them because it's like we're talking about. You know, some things, are they worth the risk or not, right? So they got this victory. It's going to be reversed, and then the prosecution is going to be that much stronger because this corrupt judge, the future judges aren't going to want to be overturned and be labeled corrupt political hacks, you know? This Clinton judge, Clinton's been out for a long time, some old lady on the verge of retirement. You know what I mean? She probably wants to get some fancy job she doesn't have to report to when she retires from the bench. You know, I've been talking a lot about Christmas gifts, right, with the audience. And this one may seem a bit unusual as a Christmas gift, but I don't think it is. I'm talking about the scans from Life Imaging FLA. You know, I talk about the peace of mind that I've gotten when I found out that I have no plaque or no blockage when I thought I did because of my cholesterol. But my wife, daughter, my mother, and my in-laws, they may even be more relieved than I am, right? Because they've been worried about me for years. You know, you're going to have a heart attack, Brian. You're going to have a heart attack, Dad. You got to take care of it. Now we got peace of mind. But, you know, people like me go in and get peace of mind and find out that we've got no blockage, we've got no cancer. People go in there every day and find out they've got cancer. They're not symptomatic. They find out they've got blockage, that a heart attack is in their future real quick if they don't get it taken care of. You get peace of mind, but they're also saving lives. This makes a great Christmas gift, Life Imaging FLA. You know, you're going to give the gift of peace of mind, but you may give the gift of saving the life of a family member. You know, Life Imaging FLA, they offer free heart scans with just a few minimum requirements that's valued at $699. They have locations in Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade County. When you're over there, make sure you ask about the cancer screening too. I had both. It takes just a few minutes. Pick up your cell phone and call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Just say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. Again, that's pound 250 on your cell phone for Life Imaging FLA. All right, well, that's all the time we have for today. Those of you on hold, stand by. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And I know there's going to be big developments today. Wouldn't that be beautiful if Trump ends the Russian-Ukraine war before Christmas? Oh, man. What a great Thanksgiving Day news story that'd be. Yeah. They're having trouble in Ukraine. I mean, they've lost.
They're in trouble. They've lost the war.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be honest, that's the status of it now.
That's right. Well, listen, that's it for us. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. That's crazy. All right, guys, take care. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump. And God bless Charlie Kirk. Don't believe those lies about his wife that they're spreading. See you tomorrow, 6 a.m. All right, Steve, I'll call you later. All right, take care. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, all right? This is where MAGA comes to talk. My name is Brian Craig. Take care. Oh, by the way, if you're already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video. That helps a lot. And if you could take the link and share it on your socials, that'd be wonderful too. All right.